So why don't we open the meeting now? Call the meeting to order.
And the first order of business should be to grant Beth privileges.
Beth, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Scott?
Yes, loud and clear. So you were gonna say something about why you're remote.
Yes, I am currently in Grants Pass, Oregon, and unable to be in two places at once. I'm here for 10 days, and so I'd like to participate by Zoom if that is allowed.
Yes,
What do we need to do to allow that?
nothing.
Okay, thank you, Beth.
You guys are all set.
Ready?
The law allows remote access as long as we have a quorum, physical quorum here, which we do. And you have all the rights and privileges as a voting member of the Board of Selectmen.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, where do you wanna go first, Ken?
Let's see. Why don't we start off with department heads?
Okay, sounds good. Chief Crowdy, why don't you lead us off tonight?
I'll do that.
And are we expecting Sam?
No, Sam.
Okay.
But I can't hand you one of these.
Okay. That would be a trick.
We'll have a copy for you.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, so since the last Selectmen's meeting on May 20th, we've had 12 incidents, 1 arrest, 130 citations, 2 accidents, 645 calls for service, and state police responded to 11 calls for service for us. We've had 4 hours of miscellaneous online training. I will be taking my second half of the firearms training in July. July 8th, our new policies will be going into effect. I've already handed them out to the officers to start reading them. And all the officers have taken their TASER recertification course for this year. And obviously the NASCAR races next weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I have since last Selectmen's meeting.
That's it?
That's it.
What, 645, what do you do on those?
So a call for service is anytime we get a call from dispatch or a call coming into the PD, we open up a call for service. Excuse me. That could be an animal complaint. It can be a traffic stop that the officer initiates. It could just be something as simple as a tree down in the road that an officer responds to. So it's anything that an officer has to respond to or do something to. So we've had 645 calls that an officer had to do something.
Is that normal or?
It's hard to say what's normal because it depends on the officer's activity as well. So it depends on how many traffic stops they do. Those are also calls for service.
Like a lot.
It is, it can be. But again, like I said, some of them are as simple as just answering questions over the phone. So it depends on what they are. Some are time consuming, some are not.
Okay.
Chief, I'd have a question too, please,
Yes, ma'am.
about citations, 135 citations. What does a citation consist
Those
of?
are just warnings, whether it be speed, inspection, registration, stop sign violations, some type of moving violation typically.
Those are moving, okay.
Yeah.
And does that seem unusual or is that in the norm?
No, that's average when you have,
Neat, right?
it's average when you have officers that are actually out being able to be on the road and not stuck in an office.
Okay, good, it's good to know. Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, wait, 1 second.
Yeah.
At this time, are we going over the job descriptions or is that another item, not for, while the chief is sitting in front of us?
So the job descriptions are for you to guys to review. If you have questions or concerns about them, make note and we'll bring those up at a future meeting.
Perfect, will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Chief Gamache. Extra one. All right, well, good afternoon. Hi, Beth, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, thank you.
To date, 191 emergency calls for assistance. We're still running way above 2023, same period, 35%. No rhyme or reason for that. it's no surprise, I started playing with some numbers today. My personnel costs are 35% over last year as well, actually 35% over budget. So we're running 30, you know, anytime we go on a call, we volunteers come in, they pay the stipend, and then everything goes to that fuel, wear and tear in the fire truck, so those lines are seeing that being stressed a little bit, so my job to manage that, and I will. So just making you aware. In the last month, the last time we met, we had 2 large propane leaks in Loudon that we went to. We were second due there. One of them was a 5-hour event. And the other one was a little bit shorter duration, but two propane, underground propane tanks that were shared by construction equipment, so we assisted them with those events.
What do you do, just let them leak out, or?
Excuse me?
What do you do with them?
We control, we direct the vapors away from ignition sources, different strategies we use to do that. And then we basically empty the tank. But if you empty it too fast, it freezes up and it locks up. And so it's just the whole myriad of things you need to do to control that release like that. Finding an ignition source. Yeah. Because it is heavier than air. So. In the town beaches, we had a training event with all the 4 beaches, all the signs, life preservers, and all those things for ropes and all our 4 beaches, just in time for the hot weather coming in. Under fire prevention, we worked the elementary school this month. They did a whole school evacuation drill. They had to evacuate to a remote site, so we coordinated with them to do that. And we did our monthly fireworks, fire alarm drill. Fire alarm drill. Town fireworks event, July 5th. We will be staffing with 2 personnel. State law says that you need to have a fire truck and a certified firefighter on duty the minute the trailer full of fireworks pulls into the lot. That's usually around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, until an hour after the last fireworks are shut off. So it's usually about 11 o'clock. So we have 2 firefighters working that event. I'll arrange my schedule where I can come to town that night also to meet the guys, the lead pyro guy setting it off and all that stuff, and kind of do one review of the thing before they set it off, and then making sure the boundaries are set for the spectators. So I'll be here that night as well.
Same location at the school.
Yeah, same location, yeah. And we're working with Brooklyn Farm. They're putting on a circus in July down there, so making sure that he gets what he needs from us and making sure the areas will be safe for him to do what he wants to do. So.
You gonna do a high wire act?
Not quite sure. It's been a tough month for apparatus repairs. For almost a week period, I had 2 newest water tanker 1 and engine 2 out of service. They both had to be towed to Concord. Wear and tear items, nothing out of the ordinary, but wear and tear items, and that left us almost a week relying on our 1996 engine 3 that I don't have a lot of faith in, but that was the only coverage in town for water. I was concerned, but we made it work. So to have the tanker and the engine go down in the same week, that has significant repairs and you have some significant downtime, and that cost significant, about a week. Downtime, it was pretty concerning. So they're fixed, they're both back in service.
Good.
Next weekend, New Hampshire Motor Speedway is hosting the NASCAR event. We are staffing all 3 events. We have a fire truck with 3 personnel each day, 12 hours each day. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, different operational objectives for them crews. And I will be in town on Friday and probably on Sunday also for a part of that race. I'll be available for the evening. Our grant, our 2022 radio grant that we got, the $8,000 federal grant, that project, the radio order has finally come in. It's on the chip away at getting that done. So hopefully by the end of summer, it's all done, bills paid, and we're ready to start using reliable communications equipment. 2023, as I told you, I put in the grant for about $30,000 for home appliances. Still haven't heard there, but I'm still in contact with our Washington delegation almost on a bi-monthly basis to kind of massaging that, and hopefully we can get that money. So we're going to take out of our budget to purchase that. And most recently, as I talked to you about, along our paramedics, we have 2 on the department, possibly 3 and 4 more coming to operate under their level of training would allow us, we have to get access to controlled substances. I work with Concord Hospital, Dr. Ricks, and a couple other people to be able to get that. As you can probably imagine, there's a lot of red tape. In simple terms, it allows people at the highest level of emergency medical training, which is our paramedics, to utilize drugs to minimize pain, discomfort, and save lives. There's no other department in the 35 department capital area region that has this agreement, but last week we signed into a controlled substance agreement with Concord Hospital, which is going to allow us to carry controlled substances once we get the inventory procedures in place and the lock boxes and all that stuff. That's what paramedics can allow, and that's a big accomplishment, and I'm proud of that, and that's going to save lives and reduce pain and suffering in the future. No cost to the town either.
I know it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Well done, Chief.
Thank you. That's all I got.
I have a couple of questions if I can weigh in from the West Coast.
Sure.
Thank you, Chief. Do you have any special provisions for the heat this week? I mean, it seems like just recently we were worried about people with power going out in cold, but it's going to be, could easily get to be 100 degrees on Wednesday. We're trying to make provisions for the farmer's market, but
Yeah.
do you have any special staff, or does the town have any provisions in case somebody's overheating and needs to get?
No plans to bring additional staff on. I've been in touch with the state emergency operations center. They are ramping up, and basically, if there's something I need, a cooling station or whatever, we can organize that and get that going. But we have no plans on bringing extra staff, and they're just kind of monitor day by day. But resources at me at basically one phone call, one text, and I get the resources we need in town.
Okay, great. Do we ever have anybody call and say like they've got a large animal that's overheating? Do you ever have to worry about that?
We've never had that. We've assisted the large animals, out of predicaments that they got themselves into, but we never had a call for that. But if we were asked to call and go down a large animal, we'd be happy to help.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My other question was about fireworks. So you have all kinds of coverage for the night of the town fireworks. Do you make any special provisions or put any noticing out to private citizens who are going to be shooting fireworks all over the place? Notice if it's especially high fire time or anything else that they need to know? So
during that night, the 5th on Saturday night, I'll be in town myself. We'll make a posting or two on social media. But other than that, we really don't put anything out. We'll have 2 members on duty that night for the fireworks and just monitoring things. And when calls come in, we'll just take them. So there's usually a non-issue with that. I think the police are probably busier than us with the nuisance calls where people complaining about their neighbors shooting out fireworks. My assumption is they're probably busier, but so we work hand in hand with the vendor that the town hires to shoot out the fireworks, and in my opinion, there's no better vendor. He's outstanding. He really is. He puts on a good show for the money for the town. So.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Okay. Nope. All set? Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, I'll catch up with you on that 3-town meeting. I'll be talking about that a little later, but
Right, thank you.
I'll give you a call. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Oh, yeah.
Shall I?
Come on down, please.
Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that, knowing that I have my Board of Trustees meeting coming up. So, getting right into it. We are RSVP'd for the Right to Know seminar, Cal. I've made everyone aware of the time change. So it will be very Board of Trustee rich tomorrow. I want to thank, again, the town for use of the town hall. It's working beautifully. Thank you for moving the screen. I could tell it had telltale Ken construction, so it worked out beautifully. And I just made some modifications. And that the amp that you provided, I don't know where that came from, but it's much better than mine. So there are plans afoot in the next few years for a library expansion. But you know what, in the meantime, this is working great. So I really appreciate the cooperation on that. The bathrooms are fabulous. I've been supplying the paper products, but I really appreciate it because I utilize it a lot. It's a beautiful building. So thank you for that. We're in high gear for summer reading. Tomorrow's the last day of school. We've gone through a lot of our summer reading promotion. Keep in mind that we offer 398 programs a year. 26 of them are in July. So this is really where we try to serve the community as best we can with our young readers. So we're in full swing on that one. We have some changes to our adult programming, and I think they're pretty much covered for the fair and the time around the fair. I know Cal and Ken and I had talked a little bit about the book sale being over there. I have talked to Bay State Books, who is a new company, and they're going to facilitate the removal of the books from Town Hall. So that is well underway. The biggest thing that I have to discuss is the trustees have decided this year to close on Juneteenth, which is Wednesday, and I'm looking at Farmers Market. So the library's closed, and I know Farmers Market is aware of that. And so I'm assuming Farmers Market will use the town hall for bathrooms. Has that been?
I think Julie's checking on that, and I know that it is a thought. We're actually considering canceling the market just because of the heat, but there are 2 vendors at least who really want to still come, so that's still under discussion. And when that should be figured out today because we have to let everybody know. So
Okay.
Julie will be in touch with whomever to try and figure out if there's a bathroom we can use in the center.
That would be great, only because I'm also on the Shaker Village board, and we just canceled our Thursday outdoor event to heat. So
Right.
I kind of felt like that was coming down the pike. Also, it is closed, and Juneteenth just happens to be on a Wednesday, so I feel badly about that. It's a little awkward, especially when you use the kitchen for food prep sometimes. It just won't be available, but it sounds like we might need to not even have to worry about that.
No, that's fine. The Farmers Market Board is well aware of that the library is closed and attempting to make other plans.
Thank you. Okay, perfect, because I was just.
Thanks for having us on your radar.
You're welcome. I was just gonna use this venue to ask you if I could just key the door to let them in the town hall, but it sounds like that's all working. Okay, and our circulation and collection reports are up. People are using their library, and we're doing good things. Do you have any questions for me over the vote?
I do. Nope. Pat?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Rachel.
you. Thank you.
John?
Well, we have Bowden back, trying to catch up with mowing.
I saw him the other day, actually.
Doing a good job.
Yep.
Odin seems to be everywhere mowing. He's got quite the
He moves
regime
sidewalk.
going.
Yep. I was starting to prep for paving, been in touch with Pike, and they want to get going. I've asked them for a price on the Ayers Road culvert and what we can do with that. They're working on that. Grading as it allows. The grader's not happy with me. It seems the clutch is touchy. Dumping the Packer is taking a lot of my time, Mondays and Thursdays. I would hope with the new job posting, you mentioned job postings, maybe we need to add a CDL after that.
Yep, and I talked to the fire chief today, and he is gonna put it out to his membership if they want to earn some extra money. If they have a CDL, that they can come in and dump the pack of on during the week.
Yeah, we have a number of CDL drivers. Everybody that drives.
I was just worried where I was the only one,
Yeah.
so I just reached out this morning and said, is it available?
Yeah.
I hope not to use it. I hope David will be back.
Yeah.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
He's back up north, isn't he? David?
He's here. He's out on injury.
Yeah, I know that. This means he's back up in Hampshire,
He
wasn't he, in
is.
Florida?
Yes.
Be sending truck 5 down to Manchester for some work. David is not driving it. And issued a couple driveway permits. We have a couple new houses going into town. Beulah and Old Tilton Road. I noticed a new issued a state of emergency for the April 3-5 storm. It was a long duration storm. You had 14 roads at various times closed, but we really had nothing involved other than a normal snowstorm. Anything for me?
The only other thing I will add is, Old Schoolhouse Road, we had issued a letter to Eversource when they, started hauling in there all winter. They needed to post a bond. They're done with the heavy hauling. John has taken more pictures of it. Part of that bond was to repave that apron if it needed, and it does need. They're getting a revised estimate from the paving company, and they will be top coating that apron at some point.
So we don't take the cracked out underneath, we just pave over it, or?
Yeah, I think from what John looked at, it didn't seem like it was.
It's not too bad. That's what we would normally do with our roads. We're trying to, their job's supposed to last through next spring, so I don't know why they're pushing so hard for now, other than they're worried about the logging, but.
Yeah, because one of the residents up there was logging, and they didn't. Part of the agreement was that the logging wouldn't take place while the road was posted. We allowed Eversource to use it while it was posted to wait this spring, but they had to post a bond. And we weren't gonna allow logging, because we couldn't tell who was the problem that caused the problem with the pavement, so. Now that the roads aren't posted anymore, and Eversource has said that their heavy trucking is done, then their log trucks are in there now. But there was enough damage to the pavement that we felt it was needed at least a top coat.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, John. Beth, you good? You're muted, Beth.
I think I'm okay. I missed a lot of that. My sound is going in and out. I've still got great video, so I think I got the gist of that, so I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Sam gave handouts on overdue taxes.
No.
There's no deeding. All those taxes got paid. There's some liens to be done, and he's gonna be working on those. That was pretty much all he had.
Okay.
But we are looking good for the uncollected taxes.
Yeah.
He's good at this, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm sure I've never seen it down to a single page, so. Should be doing something. Okay. What do you think, Ken? Sign or?
Well, we have Joanna here.
Yeah.
Are you guys, is anybody else coming in?
Over here, yeah.
I'm hiding in the corner.
Okay.
I just barely
Right.
walked in.
Why don't you guys come on up?
Yeah, if you guys want to come up and we'll talk to you about the offer to purchase that property. So they have the packet. So I could have the packet.
It should be in the appointments folder,
Okay.
which is a new folder.
It's on the presentation.
It's gonna be labeled.
CCPC. Yeah.
So there's a Sherwood Forest Association has made an offer for two pieces of town-owned property. Mandy has done some research on those two, and there's a note from her on those. If you wanna, probably the best way to do it is to review it, and then talk to them about it, give them some history. I don't know if you guys are aware of the history on those.
On those two lots.
Yeah,
One of them I researched a little bit on the tax assessor lot, the gravel, well, it's got a sign that says gravel lane, but it's actually.
It's technically an easement, but
Yeah,
it's not really a road.
And it looks like someone had once bought it from the town and then it's back in the town's hands. But on both lots, we're actually hoping that those could just be transfers like the lot from Nottingham
Yeah.
to Old Gilmanton, because, the one on Friar Tuck is really our worst road. We have no place on that road, to even put material, which makes it hard to maintain.
We're trying to strategically look for lands that would help us out in the association, and that one is literally at the end of Friar, or not really at the end of Friar. It's
It's
like
right
a
in the
really
middle,
good
yeah.
spot for possibly, material, you know, if they were dumping in a certain area. But that property also abuts the property that the well is on, that we own.
Okay.
The well itself, the land that it's on, we don't own. That's kind of an even longer story because we don't know who owns it.
Oh.
It's kind of a weird black hole in the tax information. But the property that abuts it is the one that we're looking for. So that would, you know, not only give us a good strategic spot for any material, but also gives us that connection to the well.
And no intentions of any clearing, or even, I don't think we'd even need any kind of building on there for material. It's just, one thing that we've talked about a little bit is the town, you guys will say, you know, we should help you, and there's not a whole lot we can do. We feel like this is something where we could have some help to, one, there's nowhere for water to go anymore in the neighborhood. And then the one on gravel lane is more just to really protect that lot. Well, I say gravel lane, you guys wouldn't know it as that.
Just
It's
one
off of Blue
up
Board.
New Pond.
It's off the Blue Board, right on New Pond. That's the
Yeah.
one that someone had bought, and it's back in your hands. And really, we just want to protect it.
Yeah, we own the easement that goes into that, and there's actually a very small, like, canoe-sized ramp to drop into. But I think that connects to the property, if I remember correctly.
I mean, if you feel you know, rather ask the butters first, if they want it, that's fine. We're not trying to get it ahead of an abutter. We'd like to protect it from maybe a future person that comes in, sees an opportunity to clear it. Like I said, we don't have a lot left to protect and run water anywhere.
Is it really on the water or is it on a weed?
The gravel lane one, drops right into the pond, well, like a wetland, but it is part of that pond.
Yeah.
Don't have any problem with these.
Me neither. What?
well, did you read?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
there's the, two difficulties, as I'm sure you guys both know, with respect to the, first one, it was because of the unclear title that the property reverted back to the town.
No, we didn't know about that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a potential issue that you certainly should be aware of as you
What is it exactly?
move forward. The owner of the property was unclear, so the title.
Yes, so when we sold the property, the town sold the property, tried to sell it a few years ago. And the people that bought it, the mortgage company could not get a clear title on it. So it would have to be either a quiet title or a quick claim deed done on that. And the town isn't going to do that. So the title there's a problem with the title on that property. And then the second property,
That's the one with the huge federal lien in the amount of
Oh,
$391,773.51.
so
that's
Want that though.
So
Crazy.
the previous owner of that property, had some legal issues with the federal government and, was in prison and passed away in prison. So there's this lien that's outstanding and, we really don't know what to do with it
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
We haven't had anybody interested in it, and we haven't taken any kind of steps to do anything about it. And again, the lots the town isn't losing a lot of tax money on either one of these lots, so that's why the town hasn't really taken any steps to do anything with it, so.
Is there a possibility of doing maybe like a gentleman's agreement until something is decided on?
So, the one that has the unclear title, I talked with, a couple people about it, and, I mean, my thought would be that maybe the town could give some kind of agreement to Sherwood Forest to be able to use that, if you're just gonna use it for storage of materials or something like that.
That one we don't wanna touch.
But it would,
Yeah.
but it would have to be at, if something were to come up, then the agreement would become null and void within 30 days or something like that. We'd have to come up with some kind of language that you would allow you
And
to use it.
I think, Ken, excuse me, didn't we also talk about, they could use it if it wasn't, make sure it's not cleared? I mean,
Correct.
it's clear for your
Oh,
purposes, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, no,
The
When you
closer
looked at-
you wanted is dump material on it that can be
Yeah.
easily
we're
moved.
trying to protect what we.
And that's the thing, because, you know, most of those properties in there, because of their location that's within the 250 feet of the shoreline, if you're gonna start cutting trees, now you have to get a shoreline protection permit. So if you were able to do something without, you know, those kind of steps, then maybe the town would be interested in some kind of, agreement that, again, it would have to be that, probably it would have to be able to be canceled within 30 days, notice of either party or something like that.
Or what about what we talked about with the islands, where you just agreed that they wouldn't be sold?
So the island, and that's kind of a different story, the island is pretty clear that the town owns it and is not interested in selling it.
Yeah.
With these other two properties, particularly the one that the title isn't clear, it would suit your needs, and the town really isn't interested at this point, trying to spend money to find a
Oh, understand.
clear title.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it would cost to find out about the
Yeah,
other one.
and we clearly know, the association doesn't have that money to do that.
Yeah, and that's-
So,
But the other one also, if it's going to be such a hassle and an expense for anybody to try and buy that land and clear up the mess that's on it, it's going to sit undisturbed for however long, correct? I can't imagine somebody walking into that and saying, oh yeah, let's try and figure this mess out. So, if the goal is to keep it empty and preserved, it seems like it's kind of doing it itself by the very complicated nature of the expense.
well,
We were
So-
also unaware of these issues
Okay.
well, I
before
mean,
this meeting.
yes and no, because we talked about how there was potential if, Sandy did buy the lot next to her, that if the lot at the end of Nottingham ever sold, there was a series of town lots that would have crossed over, and possibly someone with money could have come in, bought that whole row, and cleared that lot on the water to have private beach. So, I mean, somebody with money can do anything that has a
Yes.
motive for it or benefit from it, so.
I would think we could reconsider it if anybody ever came forward and just assume until a person with some, who wants to deal with that mess steps forward, that it's just going to sit.
I mean,
But that would,
could somebody else quit claim it and try to get, like, just say it's been,
Not unless they've been doing something with it.
not that I understand the whole process, but I know that that was what Shaker Village was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was something, and yeah, I just.
The town it's pretty clear that the town owns it. They took it for taxes, but the title going back is a problem. And a lot of mortgage companies will not, give loans if the title has problems with it. And that's what the previous people had a problem with.
But we wouldn't need a loan, right? I mean, so
Correct.
how would that affect?
Correct, yeah. I mean, I think it's just due diligence to know that the title is not clear on it.
But I got a question, if you don't mind. Would that affect everybody else's property that owns in Sherwood Forest?
By,
Like if there's a lawsuit
If
or
there's
something?
if there's a lien against it, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? If there's a lien against that, would that affect? Because I'm in the forest.
it's just that one piece of property.
Yeah, not the one with the lead, the other one
Okay.
is what we're talking about.
Yeah, if someone really bought it, we would just have to turn it
Yeah,
over.
if you took ownership of the one with the lien on it, that could be a problem in the future. But the one that the title isn't clear on, if you took ownership of that, it would be a title issue at some point in the future if the association wanted to sell it or do something else with it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah, we had no intention of selling it.
Yeah.
no, none of the association.
It'd be the same deal as what we did with that other
Right.
Nottingham
Yeah.
property.
Yeah. You're really looking to get it for preservation purposes.
Correct.
Yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot left. Any, like when we do our bills and we're sending out to the people, most people that don't pay and have lots, those are all potential buildable lots.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot left that we can do.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to leave
If,
this.
Yeah.
if you're still interested in that lot,
Yeah,
to take ownership of it, I think the selectmen can consider it. But if you're interested in it as maybe some kind of an agreement to store things on it, you could do that, and the selectmen might entertain that too. So,
Just to preserve it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
our main goal,
Yeah.
just to preserve it and
Friar Tuck was different, but obviously we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I knew that and missed it? Sorry, guys.
No worries there.
Yeah,
It's a staggering number.
just so I
Yeah.
remember correctly, the Friar Tuck is the title issue, the gravel main is the lead issue with the gravel.
Correct.
Yeah.
oh wait, I thought it was the other way.
uh,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
confused
Which one
me
is
with
it? On the note there, I thought it was the fire top one there.
So 10162 is the title, unclear title issue.
Okay,
which
so
is-
it's 102, the Friar Tuck one is the one with the lien on it.
Yeah,
the government.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about? Yeah.
I mean, the one at the end of the road there, the one on the water, I think I mean, the worst case is someone comes back and fights it and we have to hand it over, right?
I really don't know, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Again, the town, we thought the title was clear, and apparently the mortgage or the title company found something several years ago that the town was not aware of.
But that's been another 5 years?
Yeah,
Is there a time frame that someone has
I
to?
really don't know.
Yeah.
These land laws are confusing at best, and I'm not an attorney, so I really couldn't tell you.
Maybe we probably just move forward, just an agreement with the selectmen for now, and if
It
things change.
might be the better way to go for now, and then maybe we can do some investigating and see what we can do.
I think that'd be the best route.
So leave it at the moment that they can store, not clear anything, but store and use it for road materials and snow, pending
Yeah.
the clearing of the title at some future date.
If we even use it for that.
Yeah, we wouldn't even use it, cause
The
we
gravel-
don't do
The one
work
on
on
gravel
that,
wouldn't
yeah.
matter for us, but to preserve it would be the better.
Yeah.
The Friar Tuck one was the more of the material, but even then, that wasn't like if he told us no, it wasn't,
Understood, yeah.
it wouldn't kill the deal for us.
Yeah.
No, but the snow, there was only the smaller lot was for snow and road, and then the bigger lot on the water was the one with the giant scary lien on it.
No,
it's the other way.
No, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
other.
it is the other way around,
Yeah.
jeez. Okay. Whichever one has big scary lien on it should, personally, I would think will leave that to be, leave it. And the other one, personally, I would say if we can make an agreement that Sherwood Forest can use it for snow and road, fine, and then, at some point, someone's gotta make that title clear before we either give it away or try and sell it.
Sound good to you?
If I'm following the conversation correctly, because my sound is still breaking up.
Yeah, you're getting the gist of it, Beth, so yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the agreement would work for now, until things get cleared up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll draw something up and ask you to take a look at it. We'll run it before the selectmen and you guys and make sure it's agreeable to all parties, and then probably have you come in next month and sign it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Right.
Can I ask you a couple of questions real quick while we're sitting here?
Yeah.
The lot that goes from Nottingham to Old Gilmanton, we're actually gonna measure off the neighbor's lot, but if there's a opening, if that's on there's still a piece up there that's town on Old Gilmanton. that is, what number is his house? Can't think of, Jose, or
I think that'd be
I think it's 4, 6, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I think it's 12, 12 Nottingham behind it. There's an opening, and there's an opening in the stone wall there, and it might be the easiest way when we clear the trees to get into there before we have the resources to move the rock wall. You guys have an issue if he goes in from there on that? If it is town, we're gonna measure it, but do you have any issues with him going in from there? Where it's already open in the stone wall?
Can you
This
look
is
at
Brian.
They're trying
Yeah,
to
it's
find it
Brian.
here. It's by Brian's house? Is that what you
It
said?
was
further
Brian,
down.
then it was Brian Arnold, and then the Arnolds have a lot, and then there's the one that goes through, and then there's another one that's town that we don't have. But we're not sure yet, we gotta measure it. There's an since we're here, I'm asking, there's an opening already in the rock wall there, which would be easier for Brian to go in and remove the trees. So we're asking if that's an issue.
Gotcha.
I'm not positive yet, we have to.
That's
measure it.
part of my lot, Joanna.
The opening all the way down? I don't think, not when you have your trailer. It's a little bit further down.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Sit. I'm trying to think about it.
Because I got the 3 front,
Yep,
and then the next one is the cut through that you're looking to
yeah, it's
work with
beyond
Brian.
that, it's beyond
And
that.
then there's another lot over there that's
Yeah.
behind that one.
And there's an opening there. Yeah.
Okay, is that where you're looking?
Yeah,
Okay, before the seasonal people.
yep.
Okay,
Before that.
thank you.
But to your knowledge of town property?
Huh?
To your knowledge, that is town property?
Who would
To
you-
my knowledge, it was when I was working with Mandy 3 years ago.
Okay.
So that's what I knew.
Yep.
Because we had purchased 3 years ago that ancillary property.
Okay.
All right, that's when we had it, deputy chief.
Okay.
You wanna come up and show me on, I have to tap that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because I got one on my phone too that I took a photo with Mandy.
So this is the one that you guys, the association owns right here.
It goes straight through.
Yeah,
Straight through.
Yep, goes straight through.
Okay. So there's a house. I need to pull it up on my phone, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we were looking at Brian's.
It's all right, I packed my own memories.
Yeah, since we're here, I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Because he can go.
Do you want to see me in Hawaii?
I knew, for some reason I knew that.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, actually.
I know we had the ability with the old system, but we had to do this.
So this is my property here. We're discussing this property later. Somebody owns this, I purchased that, and then that is my property there. I purchased that, and this is the town that was there. There's a house there, and that's the lot that they're talking about.
This is the one that the.
The cut through.
Right, so that's that one.
Right, so
So
then
you're
if you,
talking about,
no, because I own 1 and 2.
okay, so it's.
21 is in discussion tonight.
Okay, yeah,
All right, so you gotta go the other way.
okay.
Just to the right, I'm looking at the property.
Yeah, if you're looking at the property
It's to the
So
right.
this one
off the
here,
road, it's to the
So this is the cut through here, there's a house there, you can see it,
Yeah.
that's the property that Joanne is talking
one right
about, I believe, yes, sir.
We have to measure, we're gonna try to measure off the, Arnold's, where we can go on this first anyways.
Gotcha.
But since we're here, if it does
Do you want to
measure
talk about
out,
that
then we
one?
think that that's the town lot.
101, 100?
Yes,
that is not owned. No, oh.
yeah, that one's town, the Saracens have the 2.
I don't know, sir. Maybe because the town owns it?
Wow,
She's got it up on the screen right now.
Okay.
It is,
Yeah, okay. Thanks, sir.
Oh, thanks, Cal. I see screen sharing.
oh,
So,
Perfect. Wait,
So yeah, that long stretch that she has on the screen
Yep.
is the land that you guys gave us last year, and the one that she's got highlighted now is the one that Joanna's talking about.
Okay.
But like I said, we're gonna measure it first. Yeah, but it looks like it's kind of borderline, so we wanted to see, but it might be easier just to go in there to get to the property, because we don't have the resources yet to move the rock wall. And Brian was gonna come this month, it was gonna be our first steps.
so what you're asking for, Joanna, is just permission to travel across or use, could move material and equipment
Yeah.
across the edge of the town lot
Well, yeah, he might
through
have
this?
to take a tree to get to the lot or two. That's what, it might take a tree or two down. If you want, I could send an email with like pictures up there too, once we mark it off.
Yeah, I think we'd have to have something. I guess the only thing is, if you're gonna be using that, probably have to talk to the road agent about going in and out of there, and if something has to be done to that section of the.
You guys don't maintain that.
Yeah, it's
road.
privately maintained. by-
That's privately maintained by us.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
town
the
does
road
not come
agent's
up.
making us.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Change
nobody
over
maintains that
right.
but us and our wallet.
Yeah,
Right at the Nottingham
Okay.
split, that's
yeah,
where you get
change
you
the
guys off.
split, yeah,
Yeah,
alright. Okay.
that's time and
Yeah.
money on our end.
But
Joanne, have a
the,
conversation with me about that ancillary property.
Yeah, okay.
The town doesn't, not even Sherwood Forest drops a stone on that section of road,
Right,
and we still pay our 200 a year. So they don't maintain it, the town doesn't maintain it, the patrons of that road maintain it.
Yep.
so then the road agent's making us pull a driveway permit for the driveway I put in.
That's a conversation between you and the town, not me, but we maintain it.
you maintain the road.
Yes.
Any new road typically has to have some kind of driveway permit.
Okay, well, Joanna, I have an existing easeway that you know where I put my trailer.
Yeah,
Brian could probably sneak his stuff in there and then
Okay.
cut through my ancillary property because that's a lot of that's dead kill and he could probably access that property.
okay,
We'll have a conversation outside
Okay.
bar it later.
alright. Thank you.
We'll drop the agreement, the draft for you guys to look at for that other piece of property
Yeah.
and go from there.
Do we need to have a motion or vote on that or anything, or just gonna draw it up? What do we have to do there?
We'll draw it up and then the motion will be once the agreement is drawn up.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Can I ask one more question? Can we get, maybe from Joanna, if we get a section of the map with a pencil drawing even of where they're talking about coming in now? Or where they wanna come in?
Yeah, I'll talk to, Mike
Okay.
first, and then if Mike and Brian, if we may not need to then, is what he
Yeah,
said.
you may not,
Okay.
because I already have an easeway through that reaches the back of my house, which I pay taxes on it. So,
Okay,
and it's already opened area because I got rid of all the winter kill. So he has a place that he can cut through the side of the road, so it wouldn't be on the road, it would just be my property basically to cut through that
Okay.
causeway. And it's
if
probably
you're
a
willing
lot.
to, that sounds easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So is there another
Okay.
offer for property?
Yeah, that's a different one.
Okay.
So there's, that's a new business item.
Oh, okay. New
And
business.
that's
Okay.
what,
Alright, okay, yep,
Mike Warren will decide for,
yep, alright,
Gotcha.
but we're at time for the CCPC.
Yep,
okay.
almost exactly. Yep. Howard and Lenore? Good
All right.
evening, or good afternoon, I guess, fairly.
Good afternoon.
Hey Cal, is it possible to stop the screen sharing now so I can see the room bigger,
Yes.
please?
Oh, do you need copies?
Oh, there's.
Do you need copies of these?
Thank you kindly.
Lenore has her.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. We talked a little bit about the procedural thicket that we have to make our way through at the end of this month.
Yep.
In order for the select board to set a default energy service rate for Canterbury Community Power. I won't go through that again. I'm assuming you guys are aware of it, including Beth. And I understand she has a digital copy of the handout, so I appreciate you sending that to her, because I forgot to send it to the.
No, I got it.
Okay. Basically, what we're asking the board to do tonight is to consider two possible choices for a default energy service rate for Canterbury Community Power going forward in the next 6-month rate period, which begins August 1 and goes until the end of January 2025. So it's a 6-month period we're talking about. And we would like the board to consider two options for that. One would be leaving the default energy service rate where it is at Granite Basic. Although we don't yet know exactly what the Granite Basic rate is going to be until the coalition board sets it at their June 27th Board of Directors meeting. We do know that it will be the lowest rate available to Canterbury Community Power customers. Right now, that rate is 8.1 cents per kilowatt hour. We'd be guessing if we tried to speculate about what that Granite Basic rate might be as of January 27th when the board acts on a new rate. But I think it's safe to assume that that rate isn't going to move drastically either up or down from the current Granite Basic 8.1 cents kilowatt hour. The second option that we'd like the board to consider, and that frankly the Canterbury Community Power Committee is, I think I may say, excited to be proposing to you tonight, is what we're calling a Canterbury Basic rate that would include a 2 mil, or 0.2 cent adder to whatever the Granite Basic rate ends up being when the coalition board sets it on June 27th. That rate, that option would be contingent on the new Canterbury Basic rate meeting two conditions, and they're set out here in this handout that you have. It runs to 3 pages now, I think. No, it's still on. No, it is 3 pages.
Yep.
The two conditions that would be attached to the board tonight setting a Canterbury Basic default rate for the next 6-month period would be, number one, it's got to preserve rate stability. That means, in dollars and cents, if a switch to Canterbury Basic rate as of August 1 would result in any addition at all, any increase at all in the Canterbury default service rate, it would be measured in mils rather than cents. That is, it could go up by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mils, 0.6 cents, but it's not gonna go up by 2, 3, 4, or 6 cents. Okay? That's the first condition that we're suggesting you put on an adoption of the Canterbury basic rate if you choose it tonight. The second condition is equally important. That Canterbury basic rate would have to come in with the 2 mil adder on top, would still have to come in below the default energy service rates of the 3 jurisdictional utilities that serve Canterbury: Eversource, Unitil, and the New Hampshire Electric Co-op. We can continue to beat all these rates as we have since we started community power a year ago. Then, and you choose that rate subject to those conditions, then we would notify the board and the CEO that Canterbury would be opting for a Canterbury basic rate for the new 6-month period. If you don't do that, if you don't want to do that, but you want to leave it at the lowest possible rate, which is going to be the granite basic rate, then you don't need to do anything tonight, because that would happen automatically unless we let the Canterbury Community Power Coalition know that the board has decided to adopt a Canterbury basic rate subject to these 2 conditions. And we'll know whether those 2 conditions have been met by June 27th. So I want to invite Lenore to make any comments she wants. I'm not going to review all these bullet points here because you've got them. And if you have questions about them, we can talk about them. But while you're thinking about that, let me just ask if you'd like to add anything.
I do. I think it's important to remember that any community power customer always has the option to increase or decrease from whatever default rate you set. So it's not like you're saying they have to pay this extra amount. It just means that the bulk of the people who are customers would pay the Canterbury basic rate for the 2 meals attached. Still have all the options available. I also would like to add that one of the discussions that is being had at the statewide level is that we asked if we could have this 2 mil adder on all of the rates. Eventually that may happen, but they're not prepared to do that right now. Maybe 6 months or a year from now, it won't be an issue, and there'll just be that much added to all. So we're headed in that direction anyway.
And I should say that if you choose to do this, if you choose to use the Canterbury basic rate going forward, it would only be for the next 6-month period. It will expire at the end of the 6-month period. So we'll be going through a similar analysis like this 6 months from now. Maybe another thing to point out is that as the sheet says, the calculation, the rough calculation of what that might mean for Canterbury in the first year starting August 1st, if you set a 2 mil adder based on total accumulated, not accumulated, based on total load, electric load served by Canterbury Community Power, which is about 96% of Canterbury residents, that would amount to $14,000 in the first year. In theory, we could ask for a 3 mil adder and that would amount to $21,000. But we figured it was better to start conservatively and see how this works before, and see how much room we have, how much of a delta there is between our rates and the utilities rates. We think it's going to be enough to do this rate period. But
so what are your thoughts for what you wanna do with $14,000 or 20?
Well, that's gonna be up to the select board, but what we would propose is that, number one, it'd be clear that this would be used for some form of clean energy or renewable energy project or program in the future. We don't have one for you to think about tonight.
Yeah.
We are exploring that through subcommittees on CCPC. But it could be 6 months or a year before we come back and say, hey, we have something we'd like you to think about using this money for. And in the meantime, it's just going to keep accumulating. One of the exciting things about that is that it begins to deliver on the promise of the Community Power Coalition to put control over an energy future back in the community's hands. One way to do that is for us to decide how we might like to spend some of these discretionary reserves, assuming you go forward with that tonight, and let it build up a little, because it could be anything from a solar farm that serves the whole town and could result in even lower rates than the official Community Power Coalition rates. It could be a project that would incentivize Canterbury residents to install energy efficient equipment in their homes, whether that's heat pumps or energy saving devices of some kind or another. But that would be up to the board. CCPC, as you all well know, does not have decision-making authority here. We can advise the board. We're happy to advise the board. We want to support the board, but it's going to be your decision.
So what happens to those 2 mills when they're running around loose out there? Do they get captured and put in a bank account somewhere?
They are captured. They are accounted for separately from our allocated share of joint reserves. They can either be held and built up within the CPCNH accounts that are being in the bank that serves CPCNH, or the select board could arrange to have them moved to a special account that's set up by the select board. And we'd be happy to advise you on that if you wanted to go that way. And those funds could be transferred literally to Canterbury's control every 3 months or so. Or every 6 months, or annually. But we would be able to tell the coalition what we wanted to do about that. We meaning you. It's really like a capital reserve fund for renewable energy projects and programs that have yet to be specified by the town.
I think Loudon is supposedly putting aside $30,000.
Yeah, we heard that the other night. Yep.
So they're thinking along the same lines, just a different way of raising it.
Yeah.
I think they're treating it as like a capital reserve account itself, right? In their own budgets.
So if you want to stay, and we're happy to continue this discussion as long as anybody has questions about it. But basically, because of the time crunch at the end of June, unless you want to try to meet like at 11 o'clock on June 27th, Thursday, and listen to the board discussion, if you don't want to get involved in an extra meeting, a special meeting, then we hope that you would be able to make a decision tonight, either to go with the lowest possible rate, which is Granite Basic, whatever that happens to be, or this new rate offering called Canterbury Basic, contingent on meeting the 2 conditions that we've talked about. And there's a board resolution here which would be appropriate only if you decide you want to go the discretionary reserve adder rate.
Beth, questions or comments from you?
Yes, my audio is failing again, so I'm gonna change locations, which will take me about 7 minutes to run to another building. But as of this moment, personally, I would support the Canterbury basic. And, you know, with the, you know, the input of the committee and their excitement over the possibilities of it, I don't think we lose much. And again, if anybody in town who cares enough to look at what their rates are and wants to opt lower, they can. But I think, you know, being able to take advantage of the savings into our discretionary fund while the rest of the process is moving forward, if I'm understanding the conversation correctly, to me seems like a good deal.
I think it is. I think we should start a little fund. It's not a lot of money, but you know, if we pick up 14,000 every 6 months.
Every year.
Well, every year, okay.
Yeah, but it's still,
It's nothing.
yeah, exactly. All right, do we need a resolution tonight then? Need a motion? Yeah, okay. And I think, is that the same? It is, yeah, okay. So I'll give that back to you. All right, so I'm just gonna read this into the record. Cal, you've got a copy of this, I assume. So whereas the board has considered several options for a Canterbury Community Power default energy service rate for the upcoming 6-month period from August 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that the new Community Power default energy service rate for the upcoming 6-month period beginning August 1st, 2024 shall be a Canterbury Basic default energy rate, which will include a 2 mil 2/10 cent discretionary fund adder to the lowest cost granite basic rate established by the Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire Board of Directors at its upcoming meeting on June 27, 2024. Contingent on the Canterbury Basic Energy Rate meeting 2 conditions. Condition 1, it must preserve energy rate stability, meaning that if the default energy rate for CCP customers, which is now 8.1 cents per kilowatt hour, would increase at all because of a switch to Canterbury Basic default rate, any such increase will be measured in mils rather than cents per kilowatt hour. And condition 2, it must continue to be lower than the default energy rates of Unitil, Eversource, and the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, the 3 distribution utilities serving Canterbury, for the upcoming 6-month term. If the new Canterbury Basic rate does not meet both conditions, the new 6-month rate for Canterbury Community Power default energy service customers will be the new 6-month granite basic rate as established by the CPCNH board on June 27.
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
You can
All right, that brings us to our 6 o'clock, right, Doug Platt?
Yep, that's correct.
Come on up, Doug.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
You're welcome. Welcome.
I am trying to get one of my neighbors, Mr. Tim LeClaire at 1 Carter Hill Drive, trying to do something with that property over there. I've been here, I live across the street, right behind Darren Adair, who's directly across from him. The house down below there, but my driveway comes right out by his barn there.
You live in LMA's old house.
I do, yep, LMA, yep. So I'm trying to get under Article 2.1, the obnoxious use. I'm trying to get this under that zoning, for a few different reasons. First off, one of the the obnoxious use is prohibited. It states here that obnoxious use means a use that is, one of them is offensive. Okay? That's very offensive when you're living right across the street from this. You gotta when you pull out your driveway, you're staring at this stuff every day.
I'm gonna stop you there.
Sure.
What is it that you're staring at? I'm sorry.
You've been by that, no, you haven't?
Not
Okay.
that I've noticed, actually.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. The next time you're, and actually, right now, it actually looks good.
Okay.
As bad as it is, I mean, it looks good. And I'm gonna give you guys some
Thank you.
pictures
That's
here
great.
that I just basically took, not the best in the world, but it gives you some kind of idea of what,
Okay. I know what place you're talking about.
of what we're looking, yeah, it's right on the corner of Carter Hill
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
Northwest. But this is the stuff that I'm looking at every day, and it's very offensive. And how I determined, or how I would like to determine the obnoxious use for this particular one, is any reasonable person standard that causes public inconvenience. I can't even tell you the number of times that I've had to go up to the top of my driveway and throw stuff back over on the other side of his property, stuff that's blown over. You know, on these real windy days, it's not gonna happen on a 10-mile-an-hour windy day. We've had 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and the stuff blows over here, whether it's a kid's pool or part of a kid's sandbox or whatever it is. And I know Darren has picked up a lot more than I have, but I've done my fair share as well. I went over and talked to Tim about this. He kind of laughs it off, says, yeah, I'm a little bit of a hoarder, and I'm trying to get rid of the stuff and clean it up, but then 2 weeks down the road, you see another U-Haul or Ryder truck in there, and it's full of stuff. He's got the back door open, and all the stuff comes out, and it just starts all over again. I mean, it's ridiculous. And also under the obnoxious uses, a couple paragraphs down, examples of evidence that may be relevant to whether a use is obnoxious includes, but is not limited to, whether the use negatively impacts surrounding property values. I mean, yes, that's a no-brainer, because myself and Darren, who are the two ones that's exactly right across the street,
Yeah.
I mean, we take pride in our yards, we keep everything upkept, and then you come into all that crap over there. And, you know, I've been here 3.5 years, I have never seen it cleaned up or anywhere as close to being cleaned up. So this is a continual thing. Now, the other thing I want to bring up in here too is that this is actually contrary to what he may say, but this is a home business. I've got his business card right here. It's Barn Door Antiques, buy and sell. And it says here that if you're going to have a home business under 2.5, no offensive noise, traffic, vibration, smoke, dust, odors, heat, glare, or unsightliness is produced. Well, obviously, it's unsightliness. And then you go to E and it says off-street parking for visitors that he has to provide. Which brings me to these two pictures. And it wouldn't be bad enough if you had something that was on the right side of the road, which this is, but
So
this
is
particular,
Carter Hill.
yeah, this is Carter Hill, and then Northwest is
Yep,
down here.
yep.
So this guy at least is parked on the right side of the road, but his trailer's sticking way out. So when traffic turns in here, they have to go into the oncoming traffic, and there's a hill right before that. So if you're coming up over the hill, and I've almost had a couple instances of that, but then you also get people that are parked on
The wrong way.
the opposite side of the street head on as you're coming up. I mean, the whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure exactly why this hasn't been addressed till now. I know in the email that I got, you guys have said that you're kind of hesitant to use it under the obnoxious use violation. I mean, I don't see any other reason why it shouldn't be, something shouldn't be done there. I mean, as you can see there, he's got that that big pull-along camper. I mean, that thing is terrible. Half of that stuff over there is garbage, it's junk. I've been over there. I've confronted him with it. I said, Tim, can we get the stuff cleaned up? Man, I'll even give you a hand. I have nothing against the guy. As a matter of fact, I had bought a pressure washer. It was only about a month old, and I used it a couple times on my house. But he must have seen me. He asked if he could borrow it. I said, sure. So I gave it to him, and he said he needed it for about 3 or 4 weeks, to get everything done he needed to. So after the month, I went to get it back. And he goes, oh yeah, speaking of that, he says, I don't know, it must have got stolen or, but he lost my pressure washer. I mean, come on, man. This guy here, he's Looney Tunes to begin with. He's not all there. So I said, okay, well, what are you going to do about my pressure washer? I think personally that he didn't even know it was mine. I think he sold it. So, and I'm out that money because he's, well, I don't have any money to even put food in my fridge, let alone, pay you for the pressure washer. So I'm just done with that whole aspect. But we need to do something with this and get this stuff cleared up. And here's, actually, that's his card there, and I can leave you with that as well. Basically, it shows that, he has a business there. And he does. I mean, he's always got people over there all the time, coming through, browsing, looking. And he even admits, he says, well, yeah, every once in a while I get really shady characters here, so probably one of them stole it. And I want this across the street from me? I don't think so. So, I mean, what's your feeling on it?
Trying to be polite and all that.
Yep.
It looks ratty, a little bit around the edges, and we've discussed whether it's a business or not. If it's a business, then I think we've got a better chance of taking it before the ZBA and asking them to make a ruling on this, because then we've got something to lean on. I don't know. Do we have any?
He even admitted to me that it was a business because I had asked him, and that's when he gave me his business card.
Our code enforcement has been up there a couple of times and had discussions with him, and he told him on both occasions that it's not a business. And our code enforcement officer checked online to see if he could find any company or anything like that, and he couldn't find anything for that address. So, I mean, at that point, it's one of those things where you try to trust people, but at the same time, our code enforcement officer did his due diligence and tried to find a company and couldn't find one. At this point, I think, like the selectman said, this would be code enforcement. It would drift over to code enforcement, and they would have to talk with the gentleman, the property owner, and come up with some kind of resolution.
Okay, but let's say though that all the home business aside,
yep.
Okay, why couldn't this be faulted under that 2.1 obnoxious uses just based on reasonable person standard of public inconvenience? If I gotta go out there and pick up stuff all the time that's going over, and Darren was actually gonna be here with me tonight, because I know he's already complained about this once in the fall, but it wasn't a lengthy email like I sent. It was just a phone call, said, hey, can we do something about this? And that's as far as it went.
Yeah. So there are two other, maybe the file is two letters.
Mm-hmm.
It's an email.
From 2 other different.
So Mr. Adair and then
Slayton.
Mr. Slayton sent letters or emails.
Okay. Well, I mean, I basically would just like the select board to investigate the use to determine if, in fact, it falls under the obnoxious use. Because everything I'm reading here, I mean, it does, and I think that he just needs to be given a cease and desist order for that mess that he's got going on over there. And that's only a small portion of it anyhow, what you see over there. His house and barn, I've been in it, it's full. I mean, completely, you can't even walk through his house. So, I mean, the whole thing is like that. It's a fire hazard to begin with. If it goes up, the better for me, but I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I've been looking at this thing 3.5 years, like I said, and hoping, well, maybe it's gonna get better. Winter time's here, and I mean, the stuff sits out there in the winter, year round, it doesn't matter. And then in the spring, he just adds more to it, and it adds to it throughout the summertime. And by the fall, it gets just as bad again. So basically, I see between the way the cars are parked when they go in there, that's a hazard to begin with. I mean, that needs to stop before somebody gets in an accident with a car with a trailer parked on the wrong side of the road on top of the hill. It's definitely obnoxious use in the regards that it's it impacts my property values as well as Darren's. So, I mean, just, you know, with even the home business aside, just under those two things right there, I don't see why we couldn't do something with this. You know, when I go up and talk to him, he kind of laughs about it like it's a joke, you know? And I mean, I'm a nice guy. I told him, I said, hey man, you know, if you want a hand with some of the stuff, I can bring it, you know, bring some up to the dump. And oh no, all the stuff is good stuff. It's, you know, it's garbage. But
So, again, my audio is a little lousy, but, am I correct in understanding that, he says he's running a business there, but, there's no record of a business being filed as being running there? Is that part of the conversation I heard correctly?
yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Okay. Does that matter if he hasn't filed for a business, if he is conducting business there?
Well, at the very least, that's a zoning infraction there. He's supposed to have a special exception for a home-based business, which goes to the ZBA.
I mean, I know he's told me that that's his only source of income. That's how he makes a living, is by selling and buying the antiques that he has for sale out there.
If you had to go for the ZBA, I'm sure they can line out where you can and can't store the stuff. I would think.
So again, either way, it seems like either obnoxious use or inappropriate business practices, if that's the correct way to say it, because, you know, if you even think back to, you know, the bread bakery down on Wilson Road that had to comply, you know, Joel went out and he had to comply with all 6 things to get her special exception for that business. You know, she complied with everything. If this is a business, there's a lot of those boxes it doesn't check off. It seems reasonable that at least Joel be involved.
I mean, I would be
as
even.
he went out to check out a bread bakery. Again, I'm listening to a fractured bit of this conversation, but it seems if it's going to attempt to be a business, it needs to follow the business rules, and it's not.
I mean, I don't even have a problem with him having the business. You know, where his driveway goes in, it goes right, dead ends right into the barn. The big barn doors.
Yeah.
You know what? Find some room. Move all that stuff in the barn doors. You can have people pull up in your driveway. They can go in the barn, look around all day long. I mean, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. It gets rid of all that garbage out there. It gets rid of the stuff flying across the street, and it gets rid of the traffic hazard.
Yeah, the zoning ordinance 2.5, which is the home office occupation, home shops and home industry, is pretty specific on what would be required.
Right.
That's the one.
Yeah, it had very specific requirements for parking and
Correct.
traffic and noise and disturbing and smells, and they're very specific for a business. And again, if this is a business, I would think it would need to comply with that, and it's not.
So I guess, I mean, if you go up and ask him if it's a business, obviously he's probably going to tell you no. So, you know, then what happens? I mean, do we just
I think we have proof. I think we have proof now that it is a business. And,
yeah.
Again, it's.
I mean, that's why he gave me his card, because when I first met the guy, he goes, well, here's my business card for the stuff that I make my living on, I buy and sell. Okay, well, to me, you know, that's a business. Whether or not you've got it registered or not, that's another thing.
Right. And I think there's gotta be something about the outdoor storage of.
There is,
Yeah.
under home-based business, it says,
Yeah.
no exterior storage of commercial material or equipment.
And like I say, what basically impacts me directly across from my driveway is, it's not even the side of his barn, it is an extension from the barn, it's an enclave like this, and he's got all that filled in with pallets and doors and kids' toys and stuff like that, and that's the stuff that blows over onto my driveway in my yard. I mean, it's just, you know, the stuff is just all over the house. I mean, it's every place. So you can't, you know, say just get this little area here cleaned up, because now you got the whole rest of it around the place. So, you know, like I said, if he could just put it inside the barn, great. I mean, to me, that'd be the best solution for him. If he wants to continue doing this, just put everything in the barn and sell it from there.
So, Joel,
I think, yeah, the next step would be the code enforcement officer, and then see how that falls out.
Yeah.
That's great. I appreciate it. I mean, anything we can get done is better than what it is now.
All right, sir.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it. And you can keep all that stuff in.
We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken, I'll give you.
Excuse me, Ken, do we have letters other than his and the one from Jeremy Slayton? Are there more on that property?
Yes, there's one from Mr. Adair.
And there's one from Mr. Platt or wherever.
That was Mr. Platt.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Did you do it again? Not really, but I'm not sure it's, one moment.
So I think that's through everything. Ken, what do you think?
So probably the under new business.
Yep.
The purchase of the other town.
Yep.
Property.
Yep.
Mr. Dale's here.
I'm looking at it too.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Put it in.
Oh, it should be.
Yeah, I'll let it should be in there.
It's under new business.
Yep.
There's, the
Oh
property
yeah, 2
card.
offers for 18 Nottingham, right, Ken?
Yes. And one of the packets is, several letters that the, I'm sorry, how do you say?
Diagonal?
Diagonal? Diagonal. I'm so
Been
sorry.
butcher ever since I was in grammar school.
Cal, Dave.
Dave. I was gonna say
Well, I could
diagonal.
use
I
this.
yeah, okay. They've made several offer letters over the years, and then
Okay.
their neighbors, Mike.
Yep. Okay. And does Beth have these?
Probably not.
Okay, no worries.
No, maybe?
Oh,
Did I
there's,
send these?
hang on a second, there was one.
One more second, I think I'm back. Are you looking to me, Cal?
Yeah, I can't remember if I managed to send you the offers, the
I think
offer
you sent
letters.
one.
I think I just sent the most recent one because the other
Yes,
ones
I've seen the offer letters.
I didn't find them until earlier today.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see what I have.
Do you have offers on the lot outside of these two?
No,
No.
not,
Anyone else?
that's it, yeah.
Just Dave and myself?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. We've already decided about this. We've already.
We just don't want the guy next door buying.
Right.
No, this is like, just the 2 offers, yeah.
Okay. All right. We're just here to protect and preserve.
Understood. I just want to see
I'm gonna
if that's
clean
ready.
up the shop a little bit.
Beth, have you found?
No, I've got the offer. Are we discussing? I may have to move my venue because this is not helping.
I'm gonna
No,
forward
okay.
you. I'm gonna forward you the email from Mike Arnold right now.
Okay, thank you.
And does she have Denise and David's?
I believe I sent that one on earlier.
Okay.
Yes, the I do not know how to say their last name.
That's all right. We're gonna
Dave.
go by Dave.
Wait, something else just came in as an offer on 41 Gilmanton.
Yep.
That was mine from 21. That email.
All right. I just got potential offer on 41 Old Gilmanton.
Yep.
Okay, down in Beulah for 3 years. I think I'm back.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesse. But one second. All right. All right. I was torn the town for about 30 years. All right, so Cal, the letter that you just sent me, what I'm reading is the response from Mandy to Michael?
Yes, so.
Is that what you wanted me to read?
You have one thing and what I printed out for the other select board members is a different thing, but they're both the same thing.
Okay.
One is the email trail
Okay.
that went between Michael Arnold and Mandy back in 2021.
Yeah.
And then what you two have in paper is the formal letter. They both say the same thing and refer to the same offer.
Okay.
But one of them I happen to have digitally that I could email to you right now, and one of them is in paper. And I neglected to scan it.
I believe if you can hear me, and if there is obviously a quorum of other select board members in the room who can discuss this while they can hear, I'm going to go offline for about 7 minutes and go to another building. I don't think I need to weigh in on this discussion per se. Again, if Scott and Kent can figure this out, but I'll check in when I get to the other building. That way I'll have more reliable sound and I wouldn't have to keep doing this. So I'm going to bow out of the meeting. Is that proper for me to do for about 7 to 10 minutes and let you continue and then come back in? What do I have to do to make that okay?
Just do it.
Okay, I'm doing it. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
We still have a quorum, so. Mike, a question for you.
Yes.
So are you actually making 2 offers tonight?
No.
Okay.
So let me explain what happened.
Yep.
I originally made an offer on 41 Old Gilmanton, which is
Yep.
the property we were just discussing with Ken.
Yep.
In doing my due diligence and my research, I noted that there was the property directly in back of me.
That's the part of the letter that I'm at.
And that's what I made an offer in on 21 at that time. But as I understood it, I could do nothing for the 3 years, and here we are moving 3 years ahead. So we're at that point. But I wanted to note that Mandy and Jan,
Yep.
we're gonna put it in the file of that property. I am here
Okay.
because that property on Nottingham directly abuts the back of my house. We're talking
Right.
like 10 feet,
Okay.
where the property line starts. Okay, and what we were concerned on is, I don't know how we word this, another developer in the association
Yeah.
might wanted to do something, even though it's not categorized as a buildable lot, in
Yeah.
my opinion, he can store junk there. So my offer originally was to protect the back of my house.
Yep.
Okay, and potentially just clean up the dead wood and do similar to what I did at
Yep.
41 Old Gilmanton. Okay, but what I do is I make the offer to the town, I take it off of taxes, turn it into a taxes, and then we attach it to my deed itself.
I got you.
And that was the same thing we did with 41 because there was another house being built down there, and I wanted to protect that property because I like quiet. Deputy Chief, you know what I do for work, I don't like people.
Are you gonna do a lot line change and merge it with your lot, or what are you thinking of? You gotta keep it as a separate lot?
No, I think based on the last, it had to be part of my deed. So what happens is it automatically moves over to my deed, and then I pay taxes on it.
So the town has typically put condition in the deed when they sell these lots to abutters that they have to be merged with no additional residential dwellings.
Yeah.
You could put a garage or a shed or something like that on it,
Yeah.
with no additional residential dwellings.
So they'll
They
have to
to
go,
merge.
they'll have to go through subdivision, right?
No.
Planning board?
Nope.
Who does the merge with?
It's the merge gets done through, Mandy at the assessing office.
All right, so should we deal with this as two separate things then? Because
Well, I believe you have two offers.
Right,
From two separate residents.
right. Correct. So we've got an offer from David and Denise.
Yep.
In the amount of $3,500.
Yep.
And Mike, the offer from you is $2,000, correct?
No, 3,000, back
Okay,
in 21.
okay, so you, okay.
So I paid 2,000 for the lot on 41, and in the same letter back in
Okay,
21,
now
I
I'm getting
offered you,
Okay,
because
I gotcha.
because I had to wait 3 years, I'm like, I'll offer him
The
another
town had
1,000.
taken it, and we suggested that you wait on it.
Yeah,
okay, understood. So here we are, so it's an offer.
Hopefully it is to do pretty much the same thing, it's just
Yeah.
preserve the
We're
town.
abutting it as well.
Yeah, they butted on the
You guys are one
other
side, yeah.
yeah, and so we've already
We're
had.
friendly neighbors.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
can
get
tell.
along.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to make sure.
That it stays nice over there.
Yes.
Of course.
Clean it up and,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, yeah, we accept the, David and Denise, your offer is $500 more, so.
Oh, alright. Now, can I make it, I should have put in the letter, contingent on a title search?
that's
Can
the
I have
only
a title
concern
search
after you
done?
guys have talked about the titles
Understood.
here tonight.
Yeah,
We
hearing
just
what
wanna
these
make
guys
sure
are going
that
through.
There's no like,
So I
Unless
did it
you-
on 41 Old Gilmanton, this place in Concord. Used them
Mhm.
because I dealt with the town when I blocked that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Because I offered that guy $20,000 when I
Yeah.
first moved in and
We were gonna
turned it
pay him
down.
20,000 and you said no.
Now,
Then
question
it
for
went down.
Sherwood Forest, do you waive any back, will all the
Yeah,
back?
no, we're not coming.
Yeah, we're not
you're good.
going after you.
Okay.
If you keep it separate, technically we bill it.
You can,
We
right.
bill it
Right.
Gotcha.
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
But that
Can I-
property goes onto your deed. They can't
Yeah,
charge you
like
at
real
all.
property
Right.
just did.
Yeah. When we bought the other lot, they just merged it into our property.
Can I ask a question? Has the time passed for them to, because I'm just afraid, like, Mike, didn't Jen think it was July?
It's July.
Yeah, so if someone were to come in the next month, or we're
Right.
good, you guys have agreed to them? We're hoping?
What's your
I mean, I'm
question?
not gonna make the check
July
out
is
Well,
today.
right, well, to one of these two parties.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, you're not
Like-
gonna- you're not gonna-
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's like
we would-
7, 8,
we
I
would-
believe.
So we would have to write up a purchase and sales and do all that, so it would be,
Yeah.
it won't, the closing will not be until after July.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if someone came in before that time, like, and made
If someone
another
came in
offer,
to pay
even
the
with one of these
taxes-
two parties?
If someone came in to pay the taxes, then it could potentially put a monkey wrench into this.
Someone that owned the lot, or just
Somebody, a
anybody?
previous owner,
Okay,
yes.
Not somebody new.
Not just a member of the public, no, it would have to be a previous owner.
alright.
We're okay with that.
Fair enough. then.
And we're bound by law to notify the previous owners
Yeah.
that the town, that the lot is being sold.
All right, so do we need a motion then?
You would accept
Accept
an
the
offer and contingent on,
We'll work on the title search.
Yeah, understood, yeah, yeah. And then,
and we have to follow the legal procedures for selling a town.
Yep.
town-
And then you'll still keep my offer online if something falls through with them.
Yep.
Is this true?
yeah.
Okay, the video.
You always have
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Go right ahead.
So you just stated that if the previous owner was to show up and say they want to pay their taxes to get the property back, does the town currently own it now?
Pardon me?
Does the town currently own it? Like they
Yes.
can-
Yes.
So if that previous owner was to come by with money, could you tell them that they can have the property back, but it's contingent that they can't put a residential building on it? Can you sign a deed back over to them like that?
I don't know that, I don't know for sure. I don't think so, But that would be a question for our attorney.
$2,000 in back dues. You could add our dues on there.
$340. Yeah, well, it would be all back taxes plus interest plus penalties. So I'm not sure what, I'd have to go, we'd have to go through the record to see what it was. And that clock still ticks, even after the town took it. So the last 3 years, those taxes and penalties are still accruing if they want to pay it back, plus the taxes that were owed before that.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because if you're giving it to a new owner, you're gonna tell them they can't do residential. I didn't know if you could do it in return.
I don't know.
Good lawyer question.
Yeah, it is a good question.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we haven't done that yet. I'm sorry.
Can we get an actual motion?
Yes, we can. So, David, help me out. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the offer of David and Denise for 18 Nottingham Road, parcel ID 101-21. Yep, in the amount of $3,500.
Second.
With me, so all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dave, let me be the first to congratulate you.
Give me that number later.
Mike just put a little extra money in his pocket, so he's good.
See the spring of my step, Deputy Chief? Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
very
night,
much.
you guys. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Is it absolute title?
Okay, yeah,
Do you want to continue Penacook Rescue while?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think Kim Scammon, Kim, are you online?
He is.
It might be Kim Scammon.
I am here,
All right,
but I'm
Kim.
having a very difficult time understanding everybody.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the Harmony Lane right now, okay?
Okay?
All right, so we have Harmony Lane on here. I sent you an
That
email.
Claire is back online, and I also am having trouble with the audio.
Okay.
You can send out.
I sent you an email about the Culvert Bridge replacement on Harmony Lane South. That the group there has been working on diligently for quite a while. Let me get my paperwork out.
Can I get your names?
Ron Beauchene.
So I spoke to Kim last week on the phone, and they have been very successful raising funds. The amount of $356,213. And they've also got some other committed funds of $42,000 from the residents. However, they're approximately $90,000 short. They've got two bids from reputable
Yeah, we have no,
construction companies.
It's not, the other,
From reputable construction companies, and both of them fall around $90,000. They fall around $90,000 short.
Yeah.
We talked about different ways of potential funding. I checked with the town clerk. The only way that any loan or funding that could be paid back via a tax bill would have to be through a village district. It's not allowed through an association or an LLC or anything like that. So any repayment of any loan the town may want to give would have to come through a village district. That means that they'd have to form a village district. There are other options the town has in the past. I know when Shaker Village needed some money for their dam, the town voted at a meeting to give them funds. Whatever would happen, whatever could possibly happen, would have to happen at town meeting. That's next March. Nothing could happen between now and town meeting. There's no way the selectmen could authorize any funds or anything like that, a loan or anything. There could be a warrant article either sponsored by the Board of Selectmen or a petition warrant article, which requires 25 signatures of registered voters.
Thank you, Kev.
And that would, those are the two potential ways a warrant could be posted for the next town meeting. And after that, it's really up to the residents of the town to determine what they do. And I would say in the interim that it would probably be a good idea for the LLC to investigate how other towns may have done this. I think, that would probably go a long way towards getting the selectmen's and town's support on this.
I was just told from another selectman or another town that they do a betterment bond for the
Yep.
people that do not pay.
Right.
We have, I think there's 18 homeowners there.
Right.
And we have a majority that's gonna pay,
Mhm.
the difference
Yep.
of that 90,000, which has already dropped down 10,000 because I volunteered my time to oversee this.
Gotcha. Yep.
Instead of the state hiring an engineer.
Right, sure,
I have a background in construction, so we saved 10,000 there. But there is a few people that can't afford it,
Right.
or they refuse to pay, So that's where we're at now, and I don't know if Kim has told you that it's in dire needs.
Yes.
We have 4 culvert pipes, and one's completely collapsed, the other one is just about. And Bob, Kim's husband, he's been out there taking all the beaver stuff out of it, and we're worried about getting trucks and stuff.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. And again, the only thing, nothing could happen until next March.
Yeah.
That's just the way.
Other option, we're gonna have a meeting on this on the 23rd.
Mhm.
The property owners.
Yeah.
And the other option is to build something on top of what we got here now to get us through.
Yeah.
The construction companies we talked to, they said they weren't keen on that, but we could do something like that. But we still have the flooding issue, because all this flooding we've been having, everybody's been having.
Right.
It just about washed out the road. And I'm the road agent of Hampshire. I do the plow, and I've got a tractor, and I get material in there and patch the road and whatnot. So I'm doing all the upkeep on the road.
Yeah, good on you for doing that.
Yeah,
It's a big job.
yeah, it is. I've been doing it. I've been there year round for 40 years now, and I've been doing most of the plowing. Now I'm doing the maintenance on it. So my retirement fund. So that's where we're at now. So I guess, we'd like to get it done as soon as better. And if we wait any longer, the price is gonna go up again,
So are you gonna be permitting traffic going the other direction out to?
Yes, Michelle Land owns the property. It's supposed to be a right of way over there, but previous owners and whatnot blocked it all off, but we have her permission now. We made a gateway. Matter of fact, the chief of police came in and, fire chief came over and inspected it. I cut down a couple of trees and there was a few holes in there and I fixed it all up. And he came over, looked at it, said, this is great. So we have an emergency access to go around on the other side of Harvey Lane. Harvey Lane's north.
Onto South Road.
Onto South Road. Yep. So we made that provision. So that's another thing that was one of the bids was if we have to build a bridge, to access it. And there's really no place to put a bridge there. So, and Michelle offered to, us to use that. So, for emergency, for the residents, but we can't get big trucks in and out, and the builder, the contractors know that.
Yeah.
They get their equipment in there and whatnot before they got it all out. So.
It's a sad situation where you come on to 106 out there.
Oh, that's the other thing. If you know the road,
Yeah.
Us winter people that spend the winter there, not everybody does, so a lot of the summer camps. You get out there and it's dangerous to get out. And one of our things is with the contractors, the two contractors we talked to, they gotta take a couple trees down. And we're gonna move the driveway. The guy, Ken McGrath, that owns the right of way there on the Loudon side, he gave us permission to move the road so we can go up and land flat. And we'll be able to see the traffic. That's one of the options, you know, we put in with the contractors. You know, they're gonna do what they can, and now I'm gonna finish it off, and then we have to pave it so many feet back from the highway when it's all said and done. That's. So you're gonna be getting a lot of fill in there, I'm sure. There's a bank there that needs, we can cut down, that Ken's allowing us to cut down. The state owns on the other side of it, and they already staked it out, the property. Do not touch, you know, type thing. We have plenty of room. You get 6 feet from the driveway down, the roadway now, which is 60 feet north. So there's plenty of room there to work with stuff. You know. Trying to keep the cost down as much as we can, trust me. You know. Yeah, I went out there last winter when it was icy.
Oh, God,
I felt
yes.
like I was in one of those luge chutes going out through there.
Kim, our one that's heading us up there, she got a brand new car. I don't think she made a payment on it, and she went up and back and into a tree. But, and then it's a rarity. We keep it. I got a barrel of sand there, and then of course the hill. We got another hill. I got a barrel of sand on each side.
I've been in over. They just don't know how to drive. I've been in and out of there so many times.
Yeah.
A long time, and I've never.
Well, like I said, I've been there 40 years, and we've been
Just kidding.
keeping it up. This is just an emergency. Nobody wants to put a new culvert in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
In order to get the grant money that we got, we can't put the steel culverts back in. They want a box culvert, state, which is gonna be a lot nicer, and the beaver will be able to dam it up, Yeah. So, but that's where we're at with that, and that's why we're reaching out.
Yep. Yep. So it sounds like 80 is more the number, at least as of right now.
I'm thinking, because Kim she emailed me last week and said, hey, she's dealing with some woman from the state.
Okay.
Tracy is her name. She said, Tracy said she did some research and we can do it. We can oversee it.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
take a week off, do that,
So that's a good week though. So save that kind of money.
Yeah. And she's talked to the contractors, both contractors that are bidding on it, and they said they're gonna try and work with us on it too.
Good.
Their basic prices just about covered all the grant. It's all the state engineering and all the other stuff they gotta do. It's bringing up the price.
Yep. Yeah.
So basically, there's nothing we can't. There's no resources for us until a town vote.
Yeah, the town would have to vote on it.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be until next March.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just.
We pay so much in taxes out there with all of us, and we get no services. I mean, we don't even have any kids in school out there. Nothing. We get now. I mean, I just look at the roads around here, like Baptist Hill Road. They're paying taxes, I know, but look at the town. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but it just seems like we don't get anything for all the taxes that we pay. Other than basics. But as far as road service goes, it would be nice to, in this situation where we're like really stuck with a lot of people that can't afford to pay as much, and we've already paid into it. There's a lot of upkeep on the road, and we've already made donations toward the legal services for it, and all the other things that we've done.
Okay, then. I guess.
Yeah, that's the best we can, that the town can offer.
Okay. We'll see how this meeting goes, and see how short we're gonna be, with gathering up. It's gonna be, so far, everybody's putting like $2,300 into it for the engineering and stuff. Now they're talking
if we're talking around $80,000 to another $4,800 a household, you know, and
A lot of money.
a lot of money.
It is.
Absolutely is these days.
So that's where we have the issue.
Yeah.
See who's gonna pay and who's not.
Yep.
You know. So. All right, well,
All right.
we thank you for your time and
Thank
your
you.
advice, and
Yep.
we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
This was the
Thank
best
you.
meeting we've ever been to. Very exciting today.
Good night, Joanna.
Bye.
All right,
Move on to signatures or?
yeah, sounds good. All right, so. Beth, are you back with us? Can you hear us?
I am back. The audio is not any better, but it's not this end. I'm currently on high-speed fiber optic connection.
Okay,
And the other person who's on Zoom as well, the audio is equally choppy. So I'm following as best I can, but I'm catching like every other word.
okay. All right, so I'll start with the accounts payable manifest in the amount of $49,210.12.
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That I heard.
All right, good.
She'll reach out with her pen. Sign.
And Cal, you wanna? Yeah, that one. There you go. All right, next is the payroll, in the amount of $67,106.02.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Thanks, Beth.
You're welcome.
Sure.
You can just put the file.
Okay. All right, welfare manifest. So this is in the amount of $1,549.25.
So moved.
And I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I think that was the proper time.
And
Yep.
meeting date, what is 17? All right, another welfare manifest in the amount of $2,100.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
All right. Okay, as long as we're in this folder, you want to talk about the access to town council
Sure.
policy?
So that was, result of, some over expenditures of legal fees by different town departments. We didn't have any policy on hand that, spelled out how to contact legal counsel by different boards and committees. So that policy was drafted and, edited, and that is the final that was sent around here.
Do we need a motion?
is this discussing the amount on line? We're on profit and loss now, correct?
No,
No.
we're on the
Access to
Policy.
town council.
policy for access to
Oh,
town
got it.
council.
Got it. I was looking at the profit and loss, which I had a question about this, the same topic, so,
Yep.
okay.
Any,
So moved.
Beth, any discussion, anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm missing this part.
Okay.
The is the policy, the new policy, or the policy that you're looking at this moment different than the one you emailed us a few weeks back, Ken?
Oh,
Yes, yes.
I emailed you a new one, in one of the. I emailed you a new one in one of the, emails about this meeting. It has the edit
The one
that,
that had 11 attachments to it?
probably,
Okay.
it has the edit that you all requested at the last meeting, where you wanted it to be
Okay.
changed from having, where it said that anybody could access town council to just department heads and board chairs could access town council.
Oh, okay. If that changes in there, then that's fine.
All right, so I'll second Kent's motion. All those in favor? Aye.
I,
Ken, will this take effect immediately?
Yep.
And we'll
Send a
notify.
copy,
our-
I'll
yeah,
send a copy out to all departments tomorrow.
Yeah. Very good. That there. All right, next item is the Town of Canterbury Riverland Beach Access Regulations. And that was what Kelly,
So the Conservation Commission had a few
Yep.
changes. Probably the biggest one was the date change. It was typically opening on Memorial Day, and they'd like to open it earlier now, and then close it a little bit later. Police department has no issue with it, so they didn't. The rest were more or less housekeeping changes.
okay.
And the only change that you requested in the last meeting, was actually just a mistake, because, you guys had a different copy than Kelly did.
Oh, okay.
So, you had requested that only the police department could enforce.
Yep, I remember.
And that is what that copy
Yep, I see that
says. So,
there.
so there's 3 copies there. There's the present regulations, the proposed ones from Kelly, and one that's clean and ready to sign, which is the same thing as what Kelly presented.
Okay.
That's this one.
Yes, the one with the
Okay.
blue post
Okay.
on it.
Yeah.
The one, yeah, the one looking for
Alright.
signatures.
Do you want to look
No.
through these? Okay, I'm good with it too. Do we need a motion or? Okay, so I'll make a motion that we accept the, how do we identify this, Cal?
It's the Riverland Beach Policy.
Okay, so just it'll be the most recent version?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we accept the Town of Canterbury Riverland Beach Access Regulations.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Ken, for effective date today?
Yep. Is this taken out?
Yeah. Moved, down to here, because I understand.
Okay.
No, it's,
Because I had handwriting. Sorry.
no, I mean, that's the problem with an agenda
Yeah.
that gets updated.
Yes.
All right, so we're at the religious exemption for 476 Shaker Road.
Yes.
And are we getting this late or?
That, yes, so all of these, the exemptions should have been filed by April 1st.
Yep.
They were not. We followed up. They ended up getting a tax bill, and subsequently, both of these organizations have filed the application for tax exemption.
It looks like with a letter of explanation.
Yes. Both properties did have exemptions, but when it came time to file the paperwork, they did not file. They were sent notices, they still did not file. They were sent tax bills. Once they got the tax bill, that's when they filed.
So,
Thank you, Sam.
I'll let you read Mandy's recommendation that we not grant the exemption.
You might wanna read it out loud, cause I don't
Okay.
believe I gave that to staff.
All right?
You want to read?
Yeah, I can. All right, so I'll go to her recommendation, which is, since the A9 form was not received by April 15th, Beulah Fellowship was issued a tax bill for 2024. On June 6th, they filed the A9 form, which I received on June 10th. I recommend that we do not accept the late filing under accident, mistake, or misfortune this year. Nathan Davis, president of Beulah Fellowship, is well aware of the requirements for the tax exemption. As you may remember, we just went through the same process with them last year, and the selectmen agreed to abate the taxes and accept the form late under accident, mistake, misfortune, due to the changes at Beulah with a new president and staff. My records show that Nathan Davis has been listed on the submitted BTLA A9 form since at least 2017. Furthermore, the paperwork received is not filled out in its entirety and does not disclose what portions of the property are applying for the exemption or its primary use and duration. The past few years I have been monitoring this property and have seen no evidence that the property has actually been used or occupied. I have reached out to our fire chief to ask if an assembly permit has ever been obtained. He shows no record of one. Admittedly, Mr. Davis has stated that they have not used the property out of an abundance of caution during COVID. The town of Canterbury was understanding of the reasoning in the past, but I don't feel that is a relevant argument today. Due to the abandonment of the property, it is evident the buildings have deteriorated. Should the property remain on the tax roll, I will work with Mr. Davis to obtain entry to ensure an accurate assessment of the property going forward. If the select board agrees with my recommendation, I will write a formal response letter to Beulah Fellowship, letting them know of the town's decision to not accept the late filing of the A9 form.
If I don't second it, we can't move forward, can we?
There's no motion before yet, so I'm still looking at. There's that, I think, from Mandy as well.
So Cal, I didn't receive anything on this issue that we're currently discussing?
No.
Okay. And this is Beulah Fellowship, from what I could understand?
Yes.
Okay. I might just have you I should just dial in on my phone and listen. I think it would be more clear.
Honestly, it might.
How can we do that? Because this is full straight. I really am catching every other word, and I'm not sure I'm being helpful, but there's parts of the discussion I still want to hear, like the update on, I would like to participate in this and, get the update on Penacook Rescue, but this is just, it's so fractured, I can barely get the gist of what you're talking about now. I don't know how you hear me, but the audio coming back is.
Your audio is fine. We can hear you clearly. Just call me. So put your Zoom on mute, and then just call me, and I'll put you on speaker.
Okay.
And this is why, when I post it on YouTube, I say go look at Edgar's video, because
Our more expensive technology doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I'm
getting a double echo. Do you do an echo?
I hear an echo in the phone. You might need to put.
Turn.
Hold on.
Can she turn?
Okay, how's that?
Oh, that's better. Right, yeah, she needs to mute and turn the volume off.
Call failed. Oh,
That must be in like the middle of nowhere, Oregon.
hello?
Bend.
Are you still there, Beth?
Do you
Beth?
you have service here?
I mean, I have Wi-Fi calling on.
Oh. And
Beth, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
who's your carrier?
Verizon.
She's on Wi-Fi call.
It failed again.
Hello?
Hi, Beth, can you hear us?
I can hear you now perfectly. I tried to mute the computer as well as the Zoom.
Okay, awesome.
Alright.
Can you test to see if she can hear you from over there?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
And me?
I can hear Kent, I can hear Scott, I can hear everyone, just fine. The problem is that I heard almost nothing of what you read about the Beulah Fellowship, and if you would want me to weigh in on it, I might have to ask you to read it again, which would be a pain.
No, let me just read it again. So this is from Mandy, and it's regarding the religious exemption at 476 Shaker Road, which is the Beulah Fellowship. And she says, since the A9 form was not received by April 15th, Beulah Fellowship was issued a tax bill for 2024. On June 6th, they filed the A9 form, which I received on June 10th. I recommend we do not accept the late filing under accident, mistake, or misfortune this year. Nathan Davis, president of Beulah Fellowship, is well aware of the requirements for the tax exemption. As you may remember, we just went through the same process with them last year. The selectmen agreed to abate the taxes and accept the form under accident, mistake, misfortune due to changes at Beulah with a new president and staff. My records show Nathan Davis has been listed on the submitted BTLA A9 forms since at least 2017. Furthermore, the paperwork received is not filled out in its entirety and does not disclose what portions of the property are applying for the exemption or its primary use and duration. The past few years, I have been monitoring this property and have seen no evidence that the property has actually been used or occupied. I have reached out to our fire chief to ask if an assembly permit has ever been obtained, and he shows no record of one. Admittedly, Mr. Davis has stated they have not used the property out of an abundance of caution during COVID. The town of Canterbury was understanding of the reasoning in the past, but I don't feel that it is a relevant argument today. Due to the abandonment of the property, it is evident that the buildings have become deteriorated. Should the property remain on the tax roll, I will work with Mr. Davis to obtain entry to ensure an accurate assessment of the property going forward. If the select board agrees with my recommendation, I will write a formal response letter to Beulah Fellowship, letting them know of the town's decision to not accept the late filing of the A9 form. End of letter from Mandy.
Alrighty, thank you. I heard that every word perfectly. It makes good sense to me.
Yep. All right. Kent, why don't you start us off?
This is the second year we've done this, and I think we should send a message that this isn't acceptable. I think they can get their paperwork in like the rest of us do, on time.
Beth?
Yeah, it seems like if he's well aware of the situation, we went through it last year, it should definitely have brought the point home. And again, if the property isn't being used, it seems like Mandy has done due diligence in figuring out the situation. I would agree. I would agree with Mandy's assessment.
I agree as well. So
Take a motion.
Yep.
Not.
So I will make a motion that we not accept the BTLA A9 form.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Move on to the next one.
Alrighty, and thank you for persevering with me, because I can now hear you all perfectly. This is a lot less frustrating.
Yep. All right, so I'll put this back in the Beulah.
There's signatures required, where the little blue, path is.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna circle deny.
Yes.
Thank you, Cal, for keeping us on track.
No.
Sir. Okay, so the next one is, how do we pronounce that word? Kairos. Earth, DBA Church of the Woods. I will read you Mandy's recommendation on this one as well. She says, since the A9 form was not received by April 15th, Kairos Earth was issued a tax bill for 2024. On June 13th, they filed the A9 form. I recommend denying the exemption for 2024 for an unsatisfactory late filing. If the select board agrees with my recommendations, I will write a formal response letter to Kairos Earth, letting them know of the town's decision to not accept the late filing of the A9 form.
Why was it unsatisfactory? Just because of the lateness?
I believe he was late last year as well, is my memory, right? So yes, Beth, as I read this, unsatisfactory because of the late filing.
And how many years did we accept a late filing from Beulah?
It was just last year.
Just 1 year?
Yeah.
So we accepted late filing from Kairos Earth last year, but Mandy's recommending not this year because of the similar lateness?
Correct.
Okay. What do you think? Because that was hard because I know it's an active church. It's not like Beulah that's been abandoned and they're kind of trying to hedge it. Lateness, yeah, but this one to me is not as clear cut. So I'm willing to listen to other thoughts.
I want to stick with my original assessment. This should have been paid on time. He knew it was coming. We went through the process of preparing a tax document for it, and I don't see why we should.
I'm in agreement.
I can do it the other way. I'll go the other way.
I'm just curious what the end result is. So if we would get a tax bill for 2024, but could reapply for the religious exemption next year?
That's correct.
Oh,
It's always
okay, well,
true, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Kent. I mean, this is the same as last year. And I can remember, I believe last year he promised this would not happen again. So here we are. So I'll make a motion that we not accept the BTLA A9.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right, some newer there.
Paper down
Oh yeah, all right. That come off of,
there. Came off the previous one.
okay.
You can toss that.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll put these back together.
Now you were down to minutes.
All right. Let's see, minutes.
Did we resolve, Cal, that issue I had? I had a question about the minutes, but if that's what was said.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
My question was, I just wanted a clarification on what Attorney Manzelli had said on line 89H about not representing soft path, but only representing a number of the households on the south part of Wyden Road. I just wanted to double check that that was correct.
Yes, she did say that.
Okay. Okay. I would want to question that further at our work session, just as a note, and I don't know where that note else needs to appear. That has nothing to do with the minutes, other than that the minutes were fine.
Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Ken, we'll give you back.
Okay.
Thank you. All
Now
right.
we're back down to new business.
Yep.
Penacook Rescue
Yeah,
update.
let's talk about that. So I attended a meeting of the Town Served by Penacook Rescue. All the towns were represented there by select boards and fire chiefs, with the exception of Canterbury. Our fire chief was not in attendance. The purpose of the meeting really was, I think, to poll the towns regarding the future of ambulance delivery service to each of the towns. And according to Penacook Rescue, their call volume continues to increase, and they about 33 times this year have had calls go out simultaneously that required them to use mutual aid for another ambulance. So
Wow.
We don't have firm numbers yet, but the numbers, in very rough numbers, and the proposals that they're considering are potentially putting what's called a fly car with a paramedic in it, which would do first response to medical emergencies, but would not be able to transport. So they would still
I'm
have to
sorry,
wait.
Scott, did you say that's called a fly car, like?
That is
fly
correct. Like
Fly car, okay.
fly there quickly.
Got it, okay.
So I don't have any costs for that, but that would be a single paramedic in a single vehicle. So Penacook Rescue has capital reserve accounts to pay for vehicles. So we would just be on the hook, if you will, for our portion of the increase for that paramedic salary for the year. Option 2 would be a second ambulance that would be put on the road for about 12 hours per day, probably during the daytime hours, which is when all three communities are having trouble getting crews together for calls. Boscawen does not do first response EMS, the fire department. So they're literally waiting for the ambulance from Penacook to get there to begin. The fire department in certain cases does go, but that is not one of their primary missions. So if they put an ambulance on the road for an additional 12 hours, first of all, they would have to order another ambulance. That, like fire engines these days, would be about 3 years out. So they do have, I believe, a spare they could use in the meantime. But for us in Canterbury, that would probably mean somewhere in the neighborhood of $80-some thousand per year extra. So we would go from 100, where are we at, Ken, 160?
162.
Yeah, up to 240-ish, wouldn't it be? Yeah. So, but keep in mind, that's only an ambulance for an additional 12 hours. If they went with a second ambulance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that would essentially double what we're paying now. And that's if they could hire enough qualified people to staff it. And as we all know, that's one of the biggest difficulties any municipality is facing currently. So this meeting was really just to make us aware of kind of the current state of ambulance service to the towns and look at where we think we want to be moving forward. So that was really it in a nutshell. It was about an hour-long meeting.
And I'm assuming that that amount that Canterbury's cost would go up is proportional, divvied up between the towns that use Penacook Rescue according to, is it by size of town?
Yes.
Or is it by call volume?
So it's by population. So not call volume, because call volume, it's almost impossible to predict. For instance, Canterbury is well ahead of last year, and we don't really know why. So that could happen to any one of the three towns. And I think, in my opinion, the fairest way is do it by population.
Okay, but realizing, of course, that is it Boscawen where the nursing home is?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. So
Does that sway the figures at all?
Sure.
but I don't know how you would splinter off, a place like a nursing home and get Boscawen to agree to pay extra for it.
Unless you see what the call volume is to the nursing home, that would be an interesting number to have.
Yeah, those are all public records. So
The other issue is it's a county nursing home, so they don't pay taxes. It's not a private nursing home that would be required to pay taxes. So
They're taking people from all over the county though, right?
correct.
Yeah.
But they don't pay the town of Boston any taxes.
Yeah.
On any of the buildings up there.
Yeah. So there is a second meeting scheduled with the three towns. And what they'll be looking for from us at that meeting is, what do we think going forward? Do we want to look at them providing a second ambulance 24/7, a second ambulance 12 hours a day, a fly car with a medic, or something in between? I really get the feeling that nothing is carved in stone, but their call volume has increased to the point where they want to have a discussion.
Oh, it sounds like a second ambulance is what's needed, but a fly car is what people might be willing to afford.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I remember when that number from the ambulance took a significant rise, not all that many years ago, and now potentially we're looking at that number again significantly rising. And part of me, we're really paying a base rate with no guarantees. It's the state of where things are, I guess is maybe the clearest way to say it. They're having trouble hiring and staffing, as are we, as are all municipalities in this state.
So do we know if our population, our residents have suffered by them using, those extra calls for mutual aid? Has Canterbury gone unserviced in any way that we can tell with this current situation, or how has the service to our population, not been good?
I think that's a difficult question to answer. We're fortunate because we get mutual aid and in some cases primary ambulance response from both Loudon and Belmont. But it's very, very difficult to quantify a delay I'm not sure that anyone is tracking that, Beth.
Okay.
You know, their mutual aid is common in fire, EMS, and police. It's just the way things have always been done. I don't think there's a better way. You know, certainly to put an ambulance here in Canterbury and staff it, I think we'd be approaching $1 million a year. By the time you paid full-time salaries, an ambulance is about $375,000 right now. And we'd be paying for payroll, benefits, pensions, etc. So, you know, when you look at it in that light, we're doing pretty good, I think, with Penacook Rescue. And I think that they're being a responsible provider by sort of waving a flag at us saying, you've got to look at this with us and come to some decision with us. Certainly,
it seems they are. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I certainly have had a number of interactions with their leadership, and I know that they are a nonprofit, first of all, and the leadership that I spoke with and that I know are concerned about delivering quality care to all three towns. So I guess, you know, having delivered that report, what I'm going to suggest is that we give this issue some thought. Penacook was supposed to have some harder numbers for us for the next meeting. But as you know, as we move forward into budget season, you know, this is potentially a big issue.
Oh, absolutely. Is there any other way, this may be an unanswerable question, for Canterbury to support Penacook Fire and Rescue without, that's not a dollar amount. I don't even know if that's a reasonable question. Is there a way that we can support staff-wise, or no, that doesn't make sense. They sound like they're flat out and up against it now. Even you know, looking at what's coming down the road. So, you know, how can we help them? Is there a way we can help them now with our current staffing and EMT professionals, or anybody from the fire department? Is there a way to help, or does that just get too complicated?
No. So from time to time, we do supply personnel to go on the ambulance. You know, think of a bad auto wreck out on I-93. You know, very often I have ridden into the ambulance with a bad patient with them. That's the way that we've supplemented them in the past. Do I think that we should regularly be supplying them with personnel? No. I would hate to take, because as you know, we only have one person on duty now during the day, a part-timer, and to take that one person out of town to staff the ambulance, I don't think is fair to Canterbury residents.
I didn't know if any of our, any of the skill set of the fire department EMT volunteers would be applicable, but if that's not, again, I don't know what we have available to us.
Yeah.
As far as volunteer, but doesn't help if you don't have a vehicle to put them in.
Right. Well, so I think you're aware, Canterbury Fire does do medical first response, but it's to stabilize the patient until the ambulance gets there. So.
Yeah.
In Penacook Rescue, they have their employees are per diem employees.
Correct.
That they hire from that are working really full-time jobs and other services. So any additional staffing would they have ads out all the time looking for help, and it's just trying to find that help is the problem.
Wow.
Yes, it is. So I think.
There's a lot to discuss on this, and thanks for, I think it's really good that, Penacook raised the question when there's still some time to actually deal with it.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, this is a conversation that we all need to have. All three towns and Penacook Rescue. So my suggestion is give this issue some thought. And you know, we can regroup for the next meeting, with the three towns in Penacook Rescue.
And how would you suggest we go about thinking about this? So we'll get harder numbers from Penacook. Is there anything else that we can use to
So I think
help us decide what would be a good way to go?
certainly looking at what each option means in terms of its tax increase implication, I think is the way we have to look. I mean, you know, I was just thinking yesterday, again, that, you know, our town is looking at that school tax increase of, last I knew, around 30% in our December tax bills. So that is in my mind, I think, with everything that we do here for the town, is, you know, people are looking at a significant tax bill increase already, and I don't want us to add to that.
But at the end of the day, it'll get weighed in on at town meeting, yes?
Yes, of course it will. Absolutely.
So we can make our recommendation, but as
Yes.
long as we have really good data, people may say, no, we're an aging community. It's important that we have good coverage. Yeah, it's going to hit us in the wallet, but we're willing to pay that. Or they'll say, we'll take the risk. No.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if so long as we have good data, I think at the moment that's the best we can do.
I agree, Beth, and I think that that's probably, as a select board, we need to develop what our recommendation is going to be.
Yeah. Okay. And the next meeting is not until August, correct? Like the 14th?
Yeah, the 14th?
14th at 5 p.m.
Yeah, so we've got time. We'll certainly have a select board meeting before then. Certainly we could discuss further.
And I would hope that Penacook Rescue will send those numbers out ahead of that meeting.
Yeah, they're supposed to be working on them. I did talk with Sean Brechtel, the head of Penacook Rescue, and asked him to deliver those numbers. So he's working on that.
We haven't gotten the minutes from that meeting yet, correct? I think it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have them available now?
Yeah, they were sent out 4 days ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Within the last, probably 3-4 days, Beth.
I think you
I was stuck in the airport in Boston. I missed that one. Sorry.
Yeah. I think you are on the email list, Beth.
Yes, I contact, I think I want to say Kim, but I may be mistaken and made sure that, I'll get them.
Yeah.
Katie Phelps.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. All right, anything further on that? Okay, we'll leave that for now. Yeah, exactly. Stay tuned for.
They're located over in Boston.
For much further discussion.
Was that the old fire station?
The old fire station.
Yeah, no, that's it. And there is some talk of moving.
Yes.
But it's at this point.
Yeah, Boston has been trying. They're trying to come up with an idea whether they're going to expand the fire station where it is now or build a new one. And so they're not sure. And if they do either, they were talking about to provide some kind of space for Penacook Rescue.
Right.
They're up at the intersection of 4 and
4
3.
and 3. Correct.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
We are on to Municipal Record Committee. Cal?
That's got Cal written all over it.
Yes, so I'm gonna try to be really quick, because we're way over
Okay.
time.
And your phone's
So,
dying.
well, we got a charger, so. RSA 33-A:3 requires that all municipalities.
Hey Cal, if you can still hear me, whatever you just did, I have no audio now.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Now we're really gonna have to rush.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Are you muted? Yeah.
Oh, did I?
Did you mute it?
No, I didn't mute
Yeah.
it. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Did we just lose her?
She's calling back.
Can you hear me now?
It's me again. It's me again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right, I'm gonna try plugging it in again. Let's see if that kills anything or, can you still hear me?
I can.
all right,
Right.
look at us.
Okay. RSA 33-8:3, municipalities are required to have a municipal records committee. We don't have one, we need one. We also need one because we've got a whole list of things that they need to do, including the retention policy, draft about the non-public minutes policy, and a whole bunch of other stuff that came up in the last Right to Know seminar
Okay.
that the lawyers provided. So we need one.
Yep.
The committee must include a select board member, town manager, the clerk, the treasurer, an assessor, and the tax collector.
Okay.
So I guess I don't know what we need to do to form a committee besides you saying let's form the committee. I would also like to be on the committee.
You should be on the committee.
And
I'd like to be on that too, if that's if no one else wants.
it sounds like Beth is volunteering
I
to be
was
a
just gonna
select
say
board
that.
member on the committee.
Thank you, Beth.
You've already done.
I don't think there's
So
any,
moved.
yeah.
Okay, so if
I'm not quite sure why I just volunteered that, but yes, I am.
that was gonna be my main question is who was the sacrificial lamb? So Beth decided. So
She
if
put her head on the
have no
chopping block
other
and.
objections or concerns, then I'm just gonna, can
Do we need a
do
motion to form the committee?
No,
or-
no.
That's it?
All right,
Okay, so we've got
Well,
a
let's-
committee, I will start scheduling things for it. and
sounds great.
We're
I'm
done.
sure to
This
us it
is-
sounds great.
This is gonna be the
Oh,
same
wait one
type of
second
thing
though,
with
Cal,
minutes
when
and
this committee forms
agendas
and
and all
it's
that.
scheduled,
Sorry,
do
both
we
these
have, are
talk,
there procedures for that, or do we have to make them
Beth.
once the committee's?
Beth,
Yes,
you and Ken talked at the same time and I didn't hear either of you, so.
oh, I'm sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
can't talk.
Go ahead.
Okay, Beth, ask that question one more time.
My question was, now that the committee will be formed as soon as we vote in a moment, are there procedures for such a committee already in effect, or do we have to come up with new ones?
Coming up with new ones.
Got it,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Same
Next.
question.
That was the same
Okay.
question? Okay, great.
I mean, we're gonna form with minutes and agendas and all that, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna be coming in our little reports every year from the, yes, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's a whole other committee.
All right, COOP plan.
This is
Oh, I'm
something
sorry,
that-
were you done?
No, we're done.
Okay.
This is something that you had mentioned at the last meeting, you wanted it on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still wanna talk about it, I didn't prepare any information.
No, so the only reason I brought it up is just a question on our COOP plan. And I seem to remember we redid it 5 years ago or thereabouts.
Probably longer than that.
Do you think we need to revisit it?
We do,
Okay.
we do. The problem being, the amount of time it takes to do it.
I worked on the COOP plan for the state, for the Department of Safety, so, yeah,
We had actually we had actually looked into applying for some grants.
Yeah.
And because ours wasn't up to date, we
Yeah.
were not eligible. I
Yeah.
talked to the fire chief about it to see
Yeah.
if he was, and again, it's time and
Yeah.
so, yes, that is on the radar.
yeah. And that's honestly the only thing I wanted to do at this point was at least begin a discussion about it, so.
Okay, I'm just going to ask a really silly question, which is by COOP you do mean continuation of operations plan, correct?
Yes, that is correct, I'm sorry.
Just checking.
Yep, nope, thank you for checking. It's been a while is my memory, and that's the only reason I was asking, so.
And who would this affect? Which particular admin of the whole town, select board, any committees, or just the town?
So all of the above, I guess, is anybody that's involved in the town, certainly police, fire, select board, town administrator.
Fire, yeah.
Yeah, everyone that's anybody.
Yeah, it
Okay,
does. It basically covers the operations of the town from A to Z.
Yep, and what do we do if Sam Lake catches fire? What do we do if the library burns down? What do we do if the meeting house burns down? Or we have a
That is
flood.
a huge schlemiel, and how does one go about,
Yeah, and there's other portions of it too. There's, what if our electronic communications go down?
Yep.
COVID. Yeah, COVID is a perfect example of one. If there's a health emergency, natural disasters, it basically covers everything. And it's similar. They used to just call them emergency operations plan, and now they're continuing operations plan. They've changed it a little bit, but I asked the fire chief to look into it to see if other members of the compact had any up-to-date ones.
Yeah.
And there are very few that have up-to-date ones. So we're all kind of in the same boat. It's just one of those things that, it's like the hazard mitigation plan that, we really have to update it on a semi-annual or 3 to 5 year basis, really.
Yeah.
So.
when was our last one, Scott? You said you looked it up.
Oh, it was, I think it was before
COVID,
yeah,
for sure.
I think it was the early 2000s, like 2003 or 2004.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's a must do.
Yeah.
And so how do we start doing that?
So usually what happens if we do it similar to the hazard mitigation plan, again, we form some kind of committee made up of the I guess the interested parties or the stakeholders or whatever you want to call them, and we look at the old plan and then we update it. It's not hard, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's just one of those updating something like that because so much has changed.
Yep.
Well, especially with like electronics,
Correct.
what if suddenly our whole internet system goes down in
Yep.
town or something? The website, our admirable, yet to be designed new website blows up. Anything we would need to do.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So if our way to host public meetings or over the internet fails.
That would be good because I'm not sure everybody can call in on their phone like I'm doing now, and we'd have to have everybody in the room have their phones on speaker.
Right. Yeah, we could accommodate 4.
It's kind of problematic.
Yep.
I could have my nephew come out and rewire us. That's when I'm sitting on this great high-speed fiber optic network, and it should be good. But
If he wants to come out here and do that, then yes, like, he's welcome to.
he's busy landing stuff on the moon, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Perfect. All right.
Okay.
So I think that brings us to
What
old
do we need to do
business.
tonight? Do we need to vote yes to do, or?
Well, I will look into it, get some information, and then I'll bring it forward at our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
you.
I do have a couple of things on. Well, I guess it's old business. I'll wait till old business.
Okay. All right. First item, highway staffing incentives.
Yeah, I think this was discussed at the last meeting.
Yep.
About what we could do to try and entice people to come to work for us. I did have a quick discussion with Beth about it. One of those incentives could be that if people live either out of state or out of town or somewhere far away, that we do have a facility that could house them for a temporary basis. Employees only, not family members, but employees only. And we could potentially offer that.
You mean up there?
Up at the municipal building. Yeah, there's showers, there's a kitchen, there's lockers, beds, things like that. So if we had to, similar to what Officer Karate is doing, if they wanted to come stay 2 or 3 or 4 nights a week or something like that, and work a shift, we could make that part of an offer if we got. But we have not had any applications since our last ones. We are going to advertise in the Concord Monitor and see if that helps, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And do any other towns offer any? I mean, it seems like again, if we have a full-time employee and if they're full-time and they have benefits and disability available, that seems like a a really good incentive, but apparently it's not enough. Are there any towns around us that offer anything else that we're not aware of?
Not that I know of.
No, yeah. That would be unique, I think.
Yeah.
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 Okay. It would be problematic, I can see, if you have people living there, who knows what else is going on up at your municipal center at night. That would have to be part of our discussion about if we even want to offer that, but.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely are ramifications.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So you were all mailed copies of the police department job descriptions.
Yep.
I would ask that you review them, and if you find any issues, they are quite comprehensive. It's a change from the existing ones. They've been updated, and I spoke with the police chief this morning about it. But we want good job descriptions. We have the ability to waive any of the I guess bullet points or requirements on the job description if we have a good candidate. But we don't we wanna set the bar high, I guess, is what we're.
We want the best people.
Yep. So.
They're really comprehensive. I was really surprised reading through them how comprehensive they are.
Yeah, and as the chief said to me today, these are job descriptions that usually a city the size of Manchester, Concord, Nashua would put out. But at the same time, we want to set the bar high, and we have the ability, if we get a good candidate, that we can waive some of the requirements. So
I did have a couple of questions, reading through them all. When is an appropriate time to ask them? And I think I said this at the beginning of the meeting when the chief was giving his report. So at what point will we discuss these? Because I don't know, I've got a bunch of questions. I don't know what the best time is to ask them or get them answered.
Yep. So if we can get comments, and probably the best way to do it is to make a list and email it to the police chief and to myself, and then we will try to address those at a future meeting.
Okay. I think they're fairly straightforward, and I think will be easily answered. There's a couple that might be a little bit more complicated, but all right. I will type them all up and email them to all parties.
Great. Kurt? Okay, a couple things that aren't on the list.
Yes.
Oh.
This is the Sanderson version one.
Oh, yes. So we had an offer. We had an inquiry about a town lot by Ms. Steenbergen.
Yep. I remember.
You guys gave a price. We contacted her, email, phone, and certified return receipt letter. We did get the card back that she did get the letter. She has not responded. The date that we set for expiration of that offer has expired. So I just wanted to bring that up and let you guys know.
Thank you.
We are not gonna communicate that part of that communication in the letter was that there is an expiration date on the offer. So
yep.
In the future, if there are any further offers on the property, then they need to be new offers.
Understood?
Yep.
Makes perfect sense.
All right. So she never responded. She's in the wind, and okay.
Correct. A couple of other old business items. Gazebo update. I spoke with Eric Baker. The accounts payable, there was a check to him for 50% of the cost of the contract. He's going to buy material, start mowing it, and he foresees probably either very late August or September to actually do the work.
Okay.
Great.
What events do we have coming at the Gazebo?
So we have the fair.
The end of July.
And that is all I know is scheduled so far.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And I inquired with the contractor that was gonna do the gutters, that's going to do the gutters. He has the material to do the gutters on this building, but he got injured and he's gonna be out for 3 or 4 weeks. So I guess he had a fairly significant injury, and so he's gonna be out. He foresees probably either late July or August to get the gutters on the stuff.
What was his name again?
Peter Gladys.
Gladys, yeah.
Yeah, and I did let him know about the fair, so that he couldn't be doing the work the week previous, but that's.
Yeah, please don't have your trucks in the middle around the house, the meeting house on fair day. That would be nice. Thank you.
Yeah. He thinks it's gonna just take a day, but he doesn't. He's not exactly sure.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And then the last item I have is we had a request from the Central Hampshire Planning has been working with the planning board. The planning board is responsible for the capital improvement plan. They solicited help from Central Hampshire Planning. The Planning Commission sent us a offer or a contract, and the cost of the town would be $2,000. The Planning Commission.
Total for a whole CIP?
Well, it would be $3,000, but they are looking to get a matching grant in the amount of $1,000, so the town would end up having to pay $2,000. The problem is that the planning board's professional services line is less than $2,000, and they've once again overexpended. The legal bill we got from them the month of May was $2,100. So they've incurred $6,500 in legal fees so far this year, which they don't have a line for. So it has to come out of the town's legal fees, which we have a line of $10,000, and it is currently overexpended. And we have future legal costs that are coming up. So I guess I would, and the other part of this is capital improvement plan is usually based off of a master plan, and the master plan has not been completed yet. So I would recommend that the selectmen not sign a contract for the capital improvement plan for this year. And hopefully the planning board will get the master plan done this year and then can move on next year to the capital improvement plan.
What's left on the master plan after all the meetings and what they're putting together now? And it seems like they have all the parts, and it will be presented before town meeting, correct?
It should be, yes.
Okay, so that should be all done. Yeah, if it can go off, are we under any legal requirement to have a CIP? Are we way overdue, or what happens if we don't do it this year? If we don't contract
I don't
for
know
it
about
this
the
year?
capital improvement, but we're way overdue on the plan for tomorrow.
No, I know that. I'm just curious if we say, okay, we want to get the plan for tomorrow done first, and we put off the capital improvement, which seems sensible. Are there any consequences to that?
Not that I know of.
No, well then, that sounds reasonable.
I'm in agreement also.
Yeah.
All right. I think the last thing I have is that we need to go into executive session to discuss a personnel issue. All right.
Can I do that on the phone?
Unless, yeah.
There is, wait one moment.
The only
There's no one
other,
else in this room with me.
the only other thing I didn't know, you got the profit and loss.
Yes.
I would say, please review it. If you have any questions, bring it forward for the next meeting.
Okay.
We're at the half-year mark.
Yeah.
And this is when we really start looking at it. And if you, I have some concerns, and I'm sure you do too, so please let me know, and we'll do our best to figure out what to do with the budget.
Sounds good.
It seemed on the whole, actually, though, there were a couple of items of concern, one of which I'm looking at that I won't bring up right now, but it seemed that a lot of the line items where it said, percent, however it's worded, percent used or percent, how targeted it is, a lot of them were at like 49, 50%. So it seemed like a lot of the line items were pretty well targeted. There were a couple that were all off for a variety of reasons, but it seems like on the whole, most of them were pretty good.
Yeah, I think, again, our bottom line is looking good, but, we're halfway through the year and, as the fire chief said today, both the engine and the tanker broke down and that's gonna cost some money. The highway department's got a truck that's going into service. So there are some things, we try to budget for what we think might happen but yes, overall, I think we're not in bad shape.
Can we back up a second? So if we need to add at some point, or if we choose to add a special line item for planning board for legal, obviously that'll be part of a much bigger discussion, but what's the mechanism for actually making that happen?
So that would
Do
be
you just say add a line item for legal?
Yes, that would be a budget for 2025.
Okay.
And budget discussions we start budget discussions in really September. And that would be the time. And then what we would do is for the new budget, for the proposed 2025 budget, we would add a line. And that's not complicated.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yep. All right,
ready?
Yep.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel issue.